Vancouver. They have the skill to match the Canucks. Now you got to match the other stuff. So they can play better. Like, I'm not going to freak out. Some people want to freak out, and I get it. It's playoffs. It's emotional. But people were freaking out after they lost game 2 to LA. Unless you pick the Oilers to sweep the series, a loss was inevitable. You didn't know which game it would be in, but most people assumed there would be a loss at some point along the way, maybe 2. I didn't like how they played. Totally fair. But a loss is a loss, whether you play good or bad. And the Oilers, the good news, they can play a lot better. The one element of their game that continued to play well, the penalty kill. And what was interesting about watch their penalty kill. Look how aggressive they were. They were assertive. They're on their toes. They're moving. They're attacking. They're breaking plays up, sticks and lanes. It was a great penalty kill. The last 2 power plays, did Vancouver even get a decent scoring chance? No. It was great. So what I don't understand, usually that should give you the momentum. And the guys who are on the penalty kill are like, hey, look at us. We're on our toes. We're attacking. Now let's do this 5-on-5. But it didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. So I expect they'll be way better tomorrow. You can give us your thoughts. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our eWell inbox. Oilers, let's be honest. They wasted a subpar effort. Because I don't care how you got up 4-1, you were up 4-1. They didn't necessarily deserve to be there, but they were. And you had 26 minutes left. And they gagged on it. So, tough loss. But there'll be tough losses that are good losses and tough losses that are bad losses. That's probably one that would go in the bad loss department for me. And now we'll see how they rebound tomorrow. David Amber will join us. Or also Colin Stevenson will join us from New York. The Rangers up 2-0 after an overtime victory in game 2. Now they go to Carolina. The Hurricane. I'll say this about the Hurricanes penalty kill, man. They seem to miss Brett Pesce. You wouldn't think that one guy can do it, and I'm not saying it's just one guy, but they've had one of the best penalty killing units for years in Carolina. And right now, remember how the Oilers dominated the Kings on special teams last round? Well, that's what's gone on through 2 games in the Rangers and Hurricane series. The Hurricanes power play, over. Rangers power play, 55%. So through 2 games, the Rangers special teams are 155%. Carolina, 45. Ugly. Exactly how the Oilers and the Kings were. Now, granted, that was for the entire series, which is crazy. So they'll have to be better. Also, former NHLer Jovocop Ed Jovanoski will join us in the 3 o'clock hour today. We're going to get we'll preview, of course, the Avs and the Stars with Evan Rowell. Spec will be by. Also, rookie camp is underway for the Elks, so we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Terry Ryan will be joining us. It's our co-host from 3 to 5 o'clock today. Livingston will be by, talk some racing. Hey, Lando Norris, baby. Is that sustainable for McLaren? Would be nice. We shall see. And obviously, we'll hear once the Oilers get off the ice. Today, we'll get you an update on Leon Draisaitl after equipment. The cramping I actually could get, it did look like it was his back, when you saw it on TV if you were watching at home. Now, that could be connected, maybe. I don't know. The equipment issue would seem a bit odd. Now, we did see, he wiped out with about 4.5 minutes left and went right to the bench, and they were working on a skate blade. So, I don't know. But they obviously need Draisaitl. No question about it. But they'll need everybody to be better. And the good news, as I said, can you tell me one Oiler player that you thought in yesterday's game, you're like, man, I thought he played right up to his potential. It's going to be hard for him to be better in game 2. I'm not sure there is one. And it's a strange positive, but it's a positive for the Oilers because they know they can play better. Cons, what stood out to you last night?
Well, I mean, if we're looking at an Oiler who played well, I thought Evan Bouchard had a good game. Thought his puck retrievals were good. He was confident walking the line, but up to what he can do. Of course, it could be a little bit better. Yeah, it was just it was a weird one because even when they were up 4-1, 4-2, there was still sort of that feeling that the Canucks were the better team. The Oilers at times were hemmed in their own end, just couldn't get it out of their own end and do anything really with it. Pucks were kind of bouncing on them in weird ways. So, yeah, I thought that it was a good start. Great to have the Oilers go up 4-1. The shots just stopping when you scored 2 soft ones in an opposing goalie. That's the frustrating part for me. And I think it was 7 shot attempts. None got through. Got to find a way to get shots on net when the opposing goalie is struggling in the fashion that he was. And they just weren't able to do that. So that was a little bit disappointing. I give the Canucks credit. They fought back, got into it. They've done previously in the playoffs. We saw them do it against the Preds, taking advantage of the other team's inability to finish them. The Canucks, they stay alive. They're kind of like a cockroach. They're always going to be fighting. So credit to them for that one. But yeah, like you said, the Edmonton Oilers have a lot of room in their game to improve. Every guy on that roster can play better. And I would fully expect to see that on Friday night.
Well, they're going to have to be, right? A little bit. That's what's great about the playoffs, baby. There's no time. It's not, we can feel our way into the series. No, you can't. Now, even getting down 2-0, there's lots of teams that have come back from 2-0. Now, there's more that have lost, too. That's no mistake about that. But we just saw the Dallas Stars do it last round. So it is possible, but it's definitely not a hole the Oilers want to dig themselves in. Just like the Carolina Hurricanes, well, they would go down 3-0. That'd pretty much be it. But the Dallas Stars, back-to-back series, probably want to avoid being down 2 Cobb. Meanwhile, if you're the Avs, you're like licking your chops. Hey, baby, we can get a big win here. The Avs, after losing the opening game of the playoffs, have now reeled off 5 consecutive victories. 2:20. We'll take a quick break. We got a lot of texts to get to. 833-401-1440. And we will chat a little bit about the Oilers and the Canucks game more in depth next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
A full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes,
For having my goals disallowed.
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well,
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
no payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
Hey, Edmonton sports fans, this is Jason Smith from Fox Sports. Weeknights starting at 9. Join me and Mike Harmon as we talk about what happened today in sports and updates on games in play. That's weeknights 9 to midnight on Sports 1440.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Hey, Eddie Steele here. If you know me, you know I'm motivated. And what motivates me? Winning? Been there, done that. What motivates me is the smell of fresh baked goodness, the kind you find at Bonton Bakery. As soon as you walk into Bonton, you're greeted with a big smile, a warm welcome, and the aroma. So good. The showcase of their baked goods always means trouble for me, not just because of the selection, but the excellent fresh ingredients. That's Bonton Bakery, 8720 149th Street, open 9 to 5, Tuesday to Saturday.
Building a new home? You may not need a residential elevator. Yeah. But in the future, a RAM elevator could provide greater accessibility and even make your house more appealing to buyers. So book a consultation with RAM Elevators and Lifts and find out how to strategically place closets to save space that will accommodate the addition of an elevator when you're ready. Plan for the future in your new home with grounded simplicity, elevated design. Learn more online at trustram.com.
Uber Eats is now in your area. We've got it all, from your favorite restaurant dishes to groceries and essentials. And get $0 delivery fee on all your orders. What are you waiting for? Try Uber Eats now. Taxes and fees still apply. See app for details.
This Friday, May 10th through Sunday, May 12th, come on down to your local Mr. Lubin Tires, and $2 from every oil change will go towards the fight to end multiple sclerosis. So you'll take care of your car's needs and help those in Canada living with MS. Visit Mr. Lubin Tires for your no-appointment car care needs, servicing all makes and models. Friday, May 10th through Sunday, May 12th, $2 from every oil change at your local Mr. Lubin Tires will go towards the fight to end MS. Take good care.
.224. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Ooh, it's going to be nice out. Jeez, everything is going to green right up. Oh, a little bit later on, we're going to talk about my favorite annual tradition that, it signifies that spring is officially here. And I can't wait. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program. Hope you're having an awesome day. Let's go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. And I know everybody at McDonald's wants a big shout out to all of you who helped out yesterday for McHappy Day. Stopped in, bought some stuff, made extra donations to raise loads and loads of money for Ronald McDonald House. I think we're going to have the official tally coming up later today. So that is fantastic. So thank all of you for being part of McHappy Day and supporting Ronald McDonald House. David Amber joins us. Lots of hockey talk. Of course, it continues on tonight with 2 games. And, David, it's been actually, I'll say this, the second round already, I would argue, has been more exciting than the first round combined, which is normally not the case. But these games early on in the second round, there's lots of 1-goal games. There's 3 goal leads evaporate twice. It's been a hell of a start to the second round.
The second round has become, Jason, what we anticipated the first round was going to be. And you're right. It lacked a little bit of heat until maybe Game 7 in the Dallas-Vegas series, and Game 7 in the Boston-Toronto series clearly had some drama. But you're absolutely right. And I think we've been treated the last 4 or 5 nights, New York and Carolina and Dallas in Colorado. And, of course, last night was – and I've watched a lot of hockey. Last night was one of the most improbable third period comebacks I've been witness to. And I'm sure there's maybe a tiny bit of panic with Oiler Nation. I don't think the team's panicking, but I can understand why the fans would be like, man, we let one slip away last night.
Well, they let one slip away despite not playing great in the first 40 minutes. I think that was usually, you can say, man, we just wasted a good effort and blew it last night. I didn't think they were playing that well, but had a 4-1 lead. And it's kind of inexcusable to have a 4-1 lead and then go 22 minutes and 43 seconds without a shot on goal.
Yeah, it was surprising. I don't know what else to say. I've been to the news conferences. I've been hearing what the players are saying, what the coaches are saying. And one thing that struck me, Rick Tocchet did say, we're not going to be passive. We're not going to sit back in a 1-3-1 or a 1-4. It's not going to be that LA Kings, style. We're going to be aggressive. We're happy grinding out a 2-1 game, but if we have to, find some offense and we have to put pressure on the Oilers, we're prepared to do that. And I didn't know exactly what to make of those comments, but watching Game 1, they find themselves in a 3-goal deficit, and that's exactly what they did. They had the Oilers on their heels. And I'm not sure if it should be, the Oilers blew it, or let's give the Canucks praise, or it's somewhere 50-50 in the middle there. But it was really surprising to see, this high-powered Oilers offense that led the league in shots, led the league in high danger chances, led the league in expected goals 5-on-5, completely be stifled and non-existent and on their heels. So it was a strange, you're right, the Oilers didn't play a perfect game, but they certainly were in the driver's seat to win the game. And the fact of the matter is maybe Vancouver needed that win in some respects more than Edmonton, because, you know, if Edmonton comes back in game 2 with their A game, it will be a different outcome most likely.
Yeah, like I think it's fair to say Edmonton didn't come close to playing up to their capabilities, but now Vancouver's got a lot of life, a little bit excited. I still think they've got to have some concerns about their goaltending, though. Right? Like I was surprised Rick Tocchet. I wonder how much he thought about maybe making a goaltending change. He didn't.
Yeah.
And obviously it's easy not to change your goalie when the next 22 minutes he doesn't have to face a shot. So,
yeah,
you know, it's
could have had anyone in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I wonder what he does here, like how short of a leash, if all of a sudden, because 2 of those 4 goals, I think they'd want back for Vancouver.
Yeah, you know, Jason, that's a really good question, and that's a big storyline heading into tomorrow's game. I was just at the Rick Tocchet news conference this morning, and he was asked about Shelavs and the possibility of Casey DeSmith, and he said, one, keeping him in yesterday, he said he had a quick conversation with a couple people on the bench, probably his assistant coaches, and just to get a feel. And then he said he went with his gut, and he said, I have to make a decision quickly, and my gut was to keep him in there. And, you know, he's earned that right. I know it's funny to say that about a 23-year-old rookie who's barely played in the NHL, but he was rock solid in that series victory versus Nashville, and he earned the right, I guess, to have an off, you know, moment, a couple of bad goals, as you mentioned. And now the real question mark is, what's his gut telling him about game 2, Rick Tocchet's gut? And he made a point of saying, you know, Casey DeSmith's healthy. He's ready to go. We're going to figure that out. So he was non-committal. Doesn't mean I'll be surprised at all if Shelavs finds his way back in that. He has been in high-pressure situations playing at the World Championships, and we've seen time and time again goalies come out of nowhere. Craig Binnington, Matt Murray, Antti Niemi, etc., come out of nowhere and rise to the occasion, make their name in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and sometimes ultimately even lead their team to a Stanley Cup. So won't shock me if we see Shelavs out there, but I agree with you, Jason. I could see it being a much shorter leash tomorrow in game 2.
Yeah, I would think so. The order now, Leon Draisaitl didn't skate today. They had Fogle with McDavid and Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, Kane, and Sam Gagner on that line. Like, I'll be stunned if Leon Draisaitl isn't in the lineup tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Luke Gazdic said it best, and he played. He's just like, Leon is the ultimate warrior. He's just a consummate, you know, guy who will play through whatever he has to play through. He played through a damn high ankle sprain. Not just that, was, you know, arguably the Oilers' best player to playoffs ago with the high ankle sprain, regardless. Barring it being something significant, you know, I expect him to be out there as well. The only issue I'll say is, you know, it looked like his back, and we all know the back more than anything else limits your mobility, and it can be incredibly painful. And I don't want to speculate because we don't know what it is. So that's something we're gonna have to monitor. But like you, my expectation is he'll be there, but you just don't know until you know. And stranger things have happened. And clearly that would be a massive, massive blow to the Oilers because he is such a dynamic player, both 5-on-5 and certainly with the power play. So that would change a little bit of the complexion of how you view this Oilers team with or without 29 in the lineup.
Oh God, yeah. He's basically been a 2-point-a-game guy so far this playoffs, and has been outstanding for the last 8 years in the postseason. So yeah, it would be a huge loss if he can't go. The fact that he came back and played, I think is probably a good sign that we saw 2 years ago. He'll play pretty banged up if need be. So obviously, though, if it was just cramping and an equipment issue, then he probably would be skating today. So I will say that it is playoffs, and I understand that you don't ever tell anything. But anybody who watched your guys' broadcast saw him talking about it was his back, or it looked like that's what he said to the trainer. So I could see them resting him. You don't need to practice at this time of year in between games. Like, they're 20-minute skates, so I don't think it matters that much. As David Amber joins us. David, the other series, though, being great. Like, we saw Dallas blow a 3-0 lead, and they're a really good defensive team. And then, you got Carolina's down 2-0. Florida. I want to get to Florida and Boston, though, last night. And, David Pasternak getting into it with Matthew Tkachuk, and, how the Bruins just seem to have enough with the bullying tactics of the Panthers.
This is funny to me, to think that people are getting under players are getting under the skin of the Boston Bruins is so funny, right? Because, I obviously kept a close eye on the Boston-Toronto series, and Marchand kept getting under the skin of Leaf players. and he's such a good agitator. Maybe the only agitator in the league better than him is Matthew Tkachuk. And you could just see, if you watch that whole sequence playing out with him and Pasta, and there's a lot of debate right now. Should Pasta have been allowed by Jim Montgomery to fight? He's not a fighter. Matthew Tkachuk isn't a heavyweight, but Matthew Tkachuk has fought before many times in the NHL and is obviously a little bit more prepared to fight. And Pasta went out of his element, and should Jim Montgomery have allowed that? But you can just see Tkachuk standing there and just agitated. And finally Pasta's like, screw this. I've had enough of this guy. I'm going to fight him. And you can see how eager he was when he went to the bench. It was like, I want to fight this guy. Can I fight him? And Montgomery's eyes kind of lit up. Sure, go have at it. Thankfully, the one thing I'll say is thankfully he didn't get injured, right? Like, that would have been such a changing of the storyline had Montgomery allowed him to fight, and whether he took one in the face or whether he hurt his hand, let's say, or whatever. And thankfully that didn't happen. But it leads to a great storyline heading into Game 3. And we expected this. This is what happens when you meet a team for the second straight playoff year. I mean, Oilers fans know this with the Kings. The fuse is short, the relationship between, one player on the other team and one player on your team. It's, I'm not dealing with this jerk again for the next, 2 weeks. Like, I'm going to deal with this on the ice. So it was great to see. It was exciting. And we've had 2 blowouts in that series, Jason. But, at the same time, I think we saw at their best, the Florida Panthers they're a very dynamic team. Alexander Barkov is an elite superstar, and he kind of took control at times of that game last night. And it was very cool to see. And I can't wait to see, the Boston crowd and what that's going to mean, the last change and everything else, and how Jim Montgomery coaches moving forward.
David Amber joins us here on Sports 1440. The Avs absolutely obliterated Winnipeg after the first game, and really, after the first half of the first game. Then they come back against Dallas. Dallas did come back in the last series against Vegas, but Colorado, I think, is a better team. Is this as close to a must-win game tonight, do you think, for the Dallas Stars?
Well, I don't know. I mean, they lost the first 2 games at home to Vegas, and they knocked the defending champs out, winning 4 of the next 5. Yeah, I mean, listen, the law of averages would say you're not going to do that twice in a row. Even for the Oilers, who I consider a very good team and the Stanley Cup Vegas odds favorite to win the cup, if you go down 2-0 in a series, in the last 4 years, 21 of the 26 times a team has gone up 2-0, they win the series. So you're asking to really defy the odds. If you're Dallas, do you really want to say we've got to go into Colorado and we're going to have to beat this team with McKinnon and McCarr and everyone for the next 5 games? Yeah, I mean, I guess when you put it that way, yeah, I mean, it is very close to being a must-win. This Colorado team, though, is so damn scary because I saw it against Winnipeg, one of the best defensive teams in the NHL this year. I covered that series every game. I was in studio for that series, and Winnipeg had leads and saw them go away quickly. 6 different times in that series versus Winnipeg, they scored 3 or more goals in a period.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Yeah. 6 or more times in that series. They are just so explosive, so dynamic, and it's not just the big boys. When you throw in Nichushkin, who's tied with Zach Hyman, or one behind Zach Hyman for the goals lead, and you throw in Lehkonen, who has points in every game, these guys are just deep, big, and skilled, and it's something to watch. I love that Dallas team, and I'll be honest with you, I picked Dallas to win that series against Colorado, but every single game I'm starting to think, oh boy, am I sleeping a little bit on this Colorado team because they're just so damn good.
Yeah, no, it's totally fair. The Rangers and the Canes. I expect the Caniacs to be absolutely blowing the roof off there tonight. That first 10 minutes, and the thing is, 5-on-5. Carolina's been right in this series. There's no issues with their 5-on-5 play. You could probably make the argument they've been the better team for long stretches, but their special teams are getting murdered, David.
Yes.
And, the Rangers, that's what got them in, 100 plus points in the regular season. They were an okay 5-on-5 team, but they would crush you as they were top 5 on the penalty kill and top 5 on the power play. And it's continued on in the playoffs.
I actually thought, what's funny, Jason? I thought 5-on-5, I thought that's how this series was going to be won, not on special teams. Because if you look, actually, Carolina had the best
penalty kill
special teams index in the league. Both these teams are top 5 in both PK and PP, and it hasn't bared out that way. I mean, New York's been great with the man advantage, including the Trocheck Game 2 winner. And Carolina, I believe, is 0 for 10 or 0 for 11 now. And it's been abysmal. 5-on-5, they've been great. The big difference is Shesterkin looks everything like, MVP Shesterkin. And that's got to be a scary prospect. Svechnikov in game 2 took out Shesterkin behind the net. He took a 2-minute interference or tripping penalty, and it was well worth it because you got Shesterkin angry. They're going to have to do a lot more of that. And I don't mean take him out, but they're going to have to be in his space, be in his face, get in his head, get him upset, get him distracted. Because Shesterkin right now, what did he make? 55 saves or something in game 2? I mean, he was fantastic. He was their first star by far. And then the fact that they can score with the man advantage just makes them such a deep and good team. Not that dissimilar to the Oilers, right? You can't put the Oilers on the man advantage. If you're the Canucks, that's the first thing they're saying. Carson Soucy today, he's talking about the success, and he said, right after we allowed that power play goal to Zach Hyman to open the scoring, guys on the bench were saying, we can't, we got to play to the line. We can't play over the line. And if you're Carolina, you probably have to think the same way now with the way New York's clicking with the man advantage. We've got to play to the line and not over the line. And we've got to make Shesterkin uncomfortable. And they just haven't been able to get him as uncomfortable as they need to. However, having said that, you're right about the home ice advantage in Carolina. That's a distinct advantage. It's one of those harder places when you talk to players to play. And that series isn't over. I do think the Rangers, I picked them maybe even to come out of the East. I'm thinking that might be the team. But that series isn't over. People say it's not over. A series hasn't started till you lose on home ice. So if Carolina can hold their home ice, everything's going to be fine. But they're going to need to really be, as you said, much better on the special teams and find a way to just get Shesterkin off his game.
Dave, great stuff, man. We appreciate it. We'll watch again soon. Thanks for your time.
I can't wait. Tomorrow night's going to be fun here in Vancouver, and I look forward to a long series. I'll hopefully run into you in Edmonton.
Yeah, you
take care.
betcha.
Thanks for having me on, Jason.
Yeah, we'll see you on the weekend. That's David Amber, Hockey Night in Canada host. Oilers-Canucks game 2 tomorrow night. Now, Leon Draisaitl isn't skating today, but Sam Gagner is taking his place with Kane and Nugent-Hopkins. You have Janmark down. Fogel's up with McDavid and Hyman. You have Brown with Ryan and Janmark, and then McLeod, Holloway, and Perry. So, you have Sam Gagner up on the second line. Now, Sam Gagner hasn't played the whole time. Do I think that they would bring him in and play him on your second line if Draisaitl was injured? I do not. I think he's just a placeholder in practice. Adam Henrique is skating, though, so it's a good sign. I don't expect him to play tomorrow, but maybe Sunday. But Leon Draisaitl, the fact that he missed that much time, I didn't buy the equipment issue. Cramps. I said, I guess it's possible, but I thought when he missed that much time, there was no way he was going to practice because he doesn't need to. He's obviously got some sort of ailment, but I fully expect him to play tomorrow. Quick break. When we come back, it is crazy. Like, think about this. The Edmonton Oilers, who are a pretty good special teams team, right? We all know that. But the New York Rangers had the third best power play in the regular season at 26.4. They had the third best penalty kill at 84.5. The Carolina Hurricanes, though, had the second best power play at 86.9, and they had the best penalty kill at 86.4. But through 2 games, it's 100% penalty kill for the Rangers, 0% power play for Carolina, and the Rangers are 55% on their power play. So they're 155 to 45. It's been an absolute bludgeoning, very reminiscent of the Oilers versus the Kings. Will it change? We'll find out next on The Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Venture Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood. How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush Smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
The full-service provider of heavy haul transportation and rigging at the highest level. Next Gen Transportation.
We're developing new and innovative ways to transport oversized and overweight equipment to remote and challenging locations.
Our Next Gen team leads with a wealth of experience and expertise. But most importantly, we put safety first, so everyone gets home safely.
We also take great pride in supporting our local community programs and teams. Good luck to everyone this season and in the year ahead.
Visit nextgentransportation.com.
When you want to recognize the top performer on your team, come create memorable and customized trophies and awards with Elite Promotional Marketing. Elite's in-house design team will help you achieve your corporate award goals. Head to elitepromomarketing.com.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Seater chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
A premier hockey solution with a clear path for long-term development is proud to be entering its 8th season of independent borderless hockey, featuring provincial and cross-province competition with showcase style, regular season gameplay, and a strong commitment to individual skill development. It's an attractive option for those seeking family life balance. The Hockey Super League offers opportunities for both male and female athletes born between 2011 and 2016. Visit hockeysuperleague.com for more information.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Hey, Leduc, can leading edge physiotherapy help you? Well, this is a question I face every day. Let me answer the best I can. Do you have a pain or injury to your toe, foot, ankle, knee, hip, lower back, middle back, neck, shoulder, elbow, wrist, hand, or finger? Are you dealing with a sprain, strain, fracture, tendonitis, bursitis, arthritis, dizziness, balance issues, surgery, whiplash, or headache? Okay, I can't list all the problems that we can help in leading edge physio in under 30 seconds, and I can't promise we fix everyone. But I can promise that we'll combine our experience, skills, technology, and hands-on care to give you an edge. Life shouldn't hurt. Find us at leadingedgephysio.com.
Yeah. Built for, and that's what my boy.
47. Welcome back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Declan Cougar, running everything online. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Also, Oilers Nation YouTube and Facebook. Welcome to the show. Lots going on. Everybody's fired up. The playoffs are, baby. Don't you miss this feeling? Last Monday, you're like, oh, God, it's the worst. Let's get some games. Well, doesn't mean they'll always win. But just makes the anticipation for game 2 a little bit more. Because even if the Oilers had won last night and then Oilers fans would be saying, okay, we got away with one. We're good. All right, we can play better. Well, now you know they got to play better. The difference is they're down 1 instead of being up 1. And it's always entertaining in the playoffs, man. Let's get to In the Room, brought to you by Next Gen Transportation. Heavy haul transport provider, 100% locally owned and operated. Proud to be part of the My Shack group of companies. It's nextgentransportation.com. And while the Oilers have a day off, there's no day off in the NHL playoffs, baby. You have the late game tonight, Colorado and Dallas. Can the Stars even up their series? Meanwhile, the Rangers have a chance to take a stranglehold on the Hurricanes. They won both their games at home. Now the Hurricanes will try to hold home court as they host the Rangers. Colin Stevenson joins us from Newsday in New York. And Colin, hey, the Rangers did what you're supposed to do. You won both games at home, and really you won it on the backs of your special teams, right? When your penalty kill's perfect and your power play scores timely goals, guess what? You got a pretty good chance of winning. 5-on-5, though, concern, like Carolina's kind of controlled the play there. What do you think the Rangers, if there's anything they want to improve on 5-on-5, what is it?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely they'd like to score more at 5-on-5, but that's been their whole thing, the whole season.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't do much on 5-on-5, at least as far as we consider elite teams, and they do most of their damage on the power play. And so far, obviously they've had a lot of power plays and they've had a lot of success, to the point where Carolina's actually making a goalie change, and they're going to go with Kochetkov. But I mean, yes, they absolutely would love to do more at 5-on-5. And I think, they're poised to do that. I mean, if you look at Mika Zibanejad, who really didn't have a great statistical season in the regular season, he's actually been really good in the playoffs, leading them in scoring with 11 points in the first 6 games. And I mean, they're poised to do that. But no, yeah, I mean, Carolina is obviously a faster team, and not a faster team, but a fast team, and is going to give them some challenges. So for now, while they'd like to improve at 5-on-5, if they're going to get power plays and they're going to win games with the power play, then, whatever works, man.
Yeah. When you look at the amount of power plays they've had, how much is it them putting the Hurricanes in positions to take penalties? And then how much do you think it is just the Hurricanes not being as disciplined as they normally are?
I think it's certainly it's a little bit of both, but I'd say it's probably the latter more so. Some of those penalties or tripping penalties and just silly, no reason for it. Just careless stuff. The one, a lot of people have a problem with the call on Brady Shea in the second overtime in game 2. That was kind of a soft call, I think. And, man, that's fair. There's really not much you can do about that if you're Shea. And I think Carolina is complaining that the Rangers maybe are going down a little bit too easy. So that's part of it too. But yeah, no, I think that Carolina needs to do a better job of, kind of just being better and just not taking, careless penalties, because obviously it's not working well for them.
No, it has not at all. But what about the Rangers penalty kill? Like it's funny. The Rangers were third in penalty kill and power play in the regular season. Carolina was second in the power play and first on the penalty kill. And the Rangers are obliterating them both. What have you liked about the penalty kill? Is it all Shesterkin? Is it their pressuring? When you go from being the second best power play in the season to do nothing, I know it's only 2 games, but I watched the second game more than I watched the first one. And at times, like Carolina's power play, like they didn't even generate good chances, never mind come close to scoring.
No, yeah. So as far as the Rangers penalty kill would be looking at, that is, yes, Igor has been great, but a lot of those power plays, Carolina power plays, they're not even getting shots.
Yeah.
I mean, they may get one in the 2 minutes, or there was one in, I guess it was game 2, where they didn't get a shot, although one shot did go off the post, so that doesn't count. They're just not getting enough shots, I don't think. And Rod Brindamore said that they're not getting inside. And now that may have something to do with the penalty kill. I mean, they are aggressive, but it's not like there's any secrets. These teams, they're division rivals. They played each other 3 times this season. They played each other 7 times 2 years ago in the playoffs, and they know each other inside and out. So I don't see what, the Rangers could be doing that's giving Carolina trouble. I think it's all Carolina. I think they're, if you look at what they did against the Islanders, their penalty kill, Carolina's penalty kill, was not good against the Islanders either. I mean, it was kind of middle of the pack. It was 9th, I think, out of the 16 teams in the playoffs. So, they've got some problems with their specialty teams on both ends. And, I think that's got more to do with Carolina and less to do with the Rangers.
What do you make of the goaltending change for the Hurricanes?
I don't know. Obviously it smacks of desperation, but to be fair, Anderson had given up that weak goal to Panarin in game 1, ended up being the game winner. I think a lot of people, he made 35 saves. I thought he played great, but he left 2 rebounds for the 2 power play goals, the one that tied it and the one that won it. And what do they have to lose, really? They're down 2-0. They got to do something. So, you might say it's desperation, but I think you got to do something, and I think it's fine. I think it's, listen, I trust Rob Brindamore. He's a pretty good coach. So if his instincts tell him it's time for a change, then, I'm good with it.
Lastly, Colin, the Rangers, and the Knicks right now, New York's going crazy. How, I know everybody keeps talking about 1994 and everything, which is, I'm sure, fun. But what is it like, having both teams, right now, like Brunson's just, he's a marvel to watch. Shesterkin's playing great. Obviously, Trocheck. Like, how is it in that market? Like, is one more popular? Are they pretty even?
It's the Knicks are probably a little bit more popular. And certainly, they get more media coverage. I mean, and all that stuff. So it's but the Madison Square Garden is like the center of the universe right now, and people are totally down with it. There are a lot of people that like both teams, and even the thing about the Knicks and Rangers is you have Islander fans who like the Knicks. You know what I mean? You have Devils fans who like the Knicks. So
okay.
I mean, so that's one of the reasons why the Knicks are more popular than the Rangers is because I think the whole area likes the Knicks, whereas you got 3 hockey teams and the Rangers are probably number 1, but you do have some people that can't stand them.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably less so with the Knicks.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Well, Colin, enjoy the rest of the series. It's been great first 2 games. We'll see what happens tonight.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for having me on.
You betcha. There's Colin Stevenson joining us from Newsday in New York. And that's a fair point, right? The Devils and Islanders fans still like the Knicks, but they hate the Rangers. And, that's a great rivalry there, man. The Rangers versus the Islander fans, the bleep pop. And I love that. I love that they still chant. It's like just a great tradition. It carries it on. It's fun, right? Sports should be fun sometimes. And that's, to me, is very simple, a little bit of fun. 2:55. We got a lot of texts coming in. 833-401-1440. Hey, guys, I like Gagne being in the 4th line rotation. Rusty, I don't see him. He doesn't kill penalties, so I don't see how he's going to play in the 4th line. I don't think they would take Brown out for him. I could be wrong. Maybe later on in the series. But based on the practice today, the fact that he's filling in for Leon Draisaitl tells me that Leon Draisaitl is actually going to play. So. Hey, boys, that crowd at the Van game was insane last night. Wondering how much of a factor it was. It had to help them from Kyle and Devin. It's an interesting point. I don't, hey, the crowd's job is to motivate the team. No question, and get up. But the crowd was also loud for the first 33 minutes, and Vancouver trailed 4-1. So I don't, like they got their second goal, a wraparound that goes in off the backside of Skinner's stick. If that doesn't go in, who knows? But yeah, I guess it gives you, it doesn't hurt. I'll say that. But we've seen lots of loud crowds and the team still loses. So I'm never sold that it's not the main reason why. It might have been part of it, right? It adds to some juice, I'm sure. Right. Especially in the 3rd period. Like when Miller scored, they went absolutely bananas. Right. Especially because right before Miller, literally, the previous shot was Nugent Hopkins ringing it off the wide open net and hitting the goalpost. Hey, guys, you think McDavid's playing hurt? Are you concerned at all about how the team is moving forward from Justin? I wouldn't be. It's one game. Right? There's lots of people concerned when they lost to LA in game 2 last round. Like, you can't win every game. And if you want to freak out and focus on all the negatives, you can. And I get it. Like, I understand being upset about last night. You should be upset. But being upset and be like, oh, my God, they wasted it. They didn't play very well. That's totally valid. But I don't think that means, they're not capable of playing well again. I think there's 2 different things. The Oilers did not play good last night. Totally valid. Rip them on that. But it's also they're capable of playing better, and I think they will tomorrow night. Now, the thing is, though, when you give away a game, and I felt the Oilers gave away that game last night, it just makes it harder to win because now you still have to win 4. Right? You win that game, even if you play 4, you're like, yeah, we played 4, but we got 3 wins left. That's it. That's a big difference. So, tomorrow's obviously a huge game. It's not a must-win game, Because lots of teams, especially when they're on the road, lose the first 2, come back and win 2. Right? It happens quite often, actually. So just happened last round. But it's not ideal for sure. So, do the Oilers want to play better? Yes. Adam Henrique skated today. Probably seems unlikely to play tomorrow. Might happen by Sunday. Makes the team a little bit better. Right? Draisaitl's injury. You would hope that today's. I thought when he left, I said, regardless of what happens, he's not skating today. I don't think there's any chance. I would expect, and I'm basing this off of, they had Matthias Janmark running on the top line for Henrique for 4 days straight because they were going to play him there. I don't think Sam Gagner is going to come out of the press box, who really hasn't played a regular part in your team for months, and then suddenly he's going to go in your second line. So if somebody else was on that line in practice today, my spidey sense would tell me there's a better chance that Draisaitl's not ready. I think that was more of a practice hole in the spot today for Sam Gagner. 2:59. Let's get to the Con Man Sports 1440 update, brought to you by High Street Insurance, driven by people, not products. Servicing Canadian businesses like yours for over 10 years. Locally owned, locally operated. They've spread out across the country, but they still call Edmonton home. Support local. HighStreetInsurance.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
We've got 2 games on the ice tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Rangers in Carolina taking on the Hurricanes, looking to take a 3-0 series lead. Puck dropping that one just after 5 o'clock. And at 7:30, you got the Stars and Avs meeting in Dallas, Colorado leading 1-0. The Toronto Maple Leafs have fired head coach Sheldon Keefe after his 5th playoff run with the team ended in a 4th opening round exit. Keefe leaves the club with a 212, 97-40 record as a head coach. The 212 wins, 5th most in club history behind Dick Irvin. In the association tonight, a couple games set to get going at 5. You got the Celtics taking on the Cavaliers. Boston leads that series 1-0. Then at 7:30, Mavs in OKC to take on SGA and the Thunder. Oklahoma City up 1-0 there. In the majors, a couple games underway already. The Mariners falling to the Twins 11-1, and it was the Diamondbacks getting past the Reds 5-4. Right now in the 7th, the Rockies lead the Giants 8-1. Later tonight, the Astros in New York taking on the Yankees. The White Sox host the Guardians. Cards in Milwaukee, and the Angels take on the Royals. And PWHL playoff action, Montreal hosting Boston. That one gets going just after 5 o'clock. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host, Terry Ryan. Also, longtime NHLer and Panthers analyst, Ed Jovanoski, and Colin Livingston will be by for the Cantorp Race Report. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Hi, Brad McCory here. Don't miss our 2023 clearance at St. Albert Dodge. Ram 1500s are now 25% off, with savings up to $17,000. You can now buy a new Ram for $45,000. Looking for a Ram 25 or 3500 diesel? Take advantage of the no-charge Cummins diesel engine. That's right. Pay for the truck, not the motor. St. Albert Dodge is the home of the $5,000 monthly giveaway. Buy or refer a friend to enter. We also have an industry-leading 4.6 Google review rating. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
The Toronto Blue Jays are on Sports 1440 every weekend. Catch all the action with play-by-play announcer Ben Schulman. The Blue Jays this Saturday and Sunday on Sports 1440, Edmonton's home for all things sports.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Vincent Pearson at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Attention Edmonton, gear up for the Big Orange event at Edmonton Kubota, happening May 10th and 11th. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to snag great deals, plus save even more, up to $400 on mowers, $500 on utility vehicles, and a whopping $1,000 on compact tractors. That's not all. Enjoy 10% off on parts and service for a whole year. Meet the Kubota experts on site to answer all your questions. Ready for the big day? Visit our Facebook and Instagram pages for more info. See you at the Big Orange event.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds, recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
The birds are singing, bunnies hopping, and you know spring has really arrived when the CRVs come out to play at Sherwood Honda. Well, those beauties are frolicking all over the lot, and it's got Sherwood Honda a little giddy. So hit them up while they're in a CRV selling mood, because who knows what kind of deal you might get. Life is good, and Sherwood Honda sure would love to share this feeling.
Here come old flat top, he come grooving up slowly. Got juju eyeball, he walk early roller. He got hair down to his knee. Got to be a yoga, he just do what he please.
How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. It's the Gregor Show, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Hey, do you feel confident in the Hurricanes on home ice? You have to lose on home ice. Maybe you can use your $50 wager. Go to PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 wager as long as you make a $5 deposit. So pretty easy at PlayAlberta.ca. Hey, lots and lots of texts flying in. People fired up. I love it. Nate Neil in the hat says, guys, help me understand how professional athletes can get to the playoffs and play like it's first game of the season. I thought the Oilers' performance was a duplicate of their first season opener against the Canucks. Well, it wasn't that bad because that was 8-0. You know what? The Oilers, hey, I outlined it earlier in the show. Nobody shows up and plays great every night in the playoffs. It just doesn't happen. And, did a week off hinder them? Maybe. They got up to a start they wanted. They got a power play early, although that was more Vancouver. Too many men on the ice. And they scored. You get a goal 2 minutes in the game, you're pretty happy. They didn't give up a shot. What did they have? Their first shot, granted, was a breakaway. But I think Vancouver only had one shot in the first 10 minutes. It's hard to hate the start for the Oilers. It was their inability to close when the game was 4-1. Right? They're fine. They get up 4-1, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, we got to go into trap mode and sit back mode. And I know you're never coached that way. I know it because I've talked to a lot of coaches. I've even talked to the players. But all of a sudden it's like, well, geez, let's just not make mistakes. And guess what happens? You don't have any shots on goal for 22 minutes. You did hit a goal post on an empty net. But you had no actual shots on goal because that one doesn't count. And then you didn't get pucks out. Then you lost some board battles. But when you're constantly defending and backpedaling rather than going forward, that's what happens. And it didn't make sense. If anything, when they went up 4-1, they should have been so excited because it wasn't like they were dominating to be up 4-1. Because they said, guys, we've had some fortuitous bounces here. Now let's finish this. But let's finish this can't be let's sit back. Gosh, did they ever? Might as well just give them a few lawn chairs. Just kicking back, feet up on the table. It was not a very good finish at all. Hey, guys, you put Carrick back in. Brown did nothing, played the whole game with unbroken eggs in his pockets from Hacksaw. Yeah, well, it took a penalty they didn't like, but they killed it off. Yeah, I didn't really notice Brown. I think they like his speed a little bit more. I'm not sure they want Carrick and Ryan on the same line. It's going to be my guess. So based on practice today, I don't think you're going to see a change there. What's interesting yesterday was with Draisaitl out, McDavid ended up taking away more faceoffs and didn't have a lot of success. He won 5 of 18. Right, Draisaitl, when he was in, only won 2 out of 7. So those two combined to win 7 out of 25 faceoffs. Not ideal. So there's another area where they'll need to be better. Hey, boys, people in Edmonton need to settle down. The Oilers played their worst game in 3 months. Vancouver played well, and we almost won. Oilers will be fine from the Ulsterman. Yeah, see, I don't know if the Canucks played that great, to be honest. Like, they came back, looked good, but like I said, in the first 10 minutes on home ice, they had, what, 1 shot? They were down 2-0 after 20 minutes. I think both teams can find areas that they really want to improve on. And that's what's going to make it a good series. For sure. Hey, guys, at what point is it a mental factor? The Oilers are now 0-5 against the Canucks. They've lost different ways, and now if we lose Friday, that has to be some kind of mental battle, right? From Aaron. That's a good question. I don't know, to be honest. I would like to think not. That, like, look at the Colorado Avalanche, lost their first 3 games in the regular season to Winnipeg, and then they lost in game 1. Then they won 4 in a row. Right? They were 0-4, 4 in a row. I really don't think if you're a successful athlete, you're not thinking in the back of your head, oh, geez, we lost to these guys back in October. Why? There's zero benefit to doing it. Right? It's like, make this adage in a relationship. What's the number one rule in a relationship? Right? They're supposed to be, hey, if you annoyed me, whatever it was 2 days ago, talk about it. If you annoyed me 3 months ago, you don't bring it up again. What does that do? Well, it doesn't start a fight because there's really no benefit. It's being talked about. To think about it, rehash it. It's like, no, move on. You either choose to move on or move out. It's kind of the thing. And so the Oilers, they can't be worrying about it at all. And I don't think they will be. Because again, they were up 4-1 last night. They just didn't play very well. Even when they were up 4-1. I don't think the Oilers played close to their best last night at all. Another factor, you can't have 3 hits from your entire defense corps in a playoff game. I'm sorry. You can't do it. Desharnais, Nurse, Kulak, Ceci, over. So think about, and that's 2 pairs that basically played together the whole time. They never had any hits. Ekholm had 1. Bouchard had 2. Good for Bouchard. Horrible for your team that your most offensive defenseman, who isn't physical, had the most hits. Right? That's not good enough. It's unacceptable. Nurse and Ceci, they got to play better. No question. Get in some guy's face. How do you not deliver a hit in a playoff game? Like, how does that even happen? So there's another area. Little increased intensity. Little increased nastiness. Right? I mentioned it earlier. You had, outside of Zach Hyman, the other 11 forwards combined for 4 shots on goal 5-on-5. 4 from 11 forwards. 5-on-5. Less than ideal. I think the good news is, just like it was in game 2 against LA, I didn't think Edmonton played very well against LA in game 2, and they lost in overtime. I don't think they played very well last night. They lost by 1 goal. Right? When the Oilers are on, I think they're a better team than Vancouver, but they got to turn it on. And it better be on tomorrow, because you can't wait too long in a series. You just can't. So, we'll see where they go. You know what? Hey, JT Miller's a good faceoff guy. So is Lindholm, but they can't dominate you like that in a faceoff dot. Not good. Hey, Gregor, 6 out of 7 games in the Saskatoon Moose Jaw series that went to overtime. First I've ever heard a series going that way. Is that Moose Jaw's first WHL final, or did they make it when Tim Hunter was coaching for Mark? Well, definitely Mark, not when Tim Hunter was coaching. I can tell you that for sure. They got to the first round once, and they had really good teams. Look how many guys from those Moose Jaw teams make it to the NHL. And then they never got to that. You wonder why. Because he was a terrible coach. He was one of the worst motivating coaches ever in WHL. Just the bully was brutal. But no, they did make it to the WHL final back in 2006 when, who's the Travis Hamonic was probably like their main defenseman on that team. He was a really good junior player. So that was the last time the Warriors are in the WHL final. It's going to be them in Portland. So it should be a good series. Yeah, Moose Jaw's got some good young players, man. But yeah, that is crazy. 6 out of 7 games go to OT. Honestly, you can't get much closer in a 7-game series. You can't get much closer. Hey, boys, in the words of Ted Lasso, be a goldfish. That's actually a good one, Richard. Now, does anybody out there know the Ted Lasso reference of what he means by be a goldfish? You know what they say a goldfish has? The shortest memory. And in pro sports, you need a short memory. The Oilers cannot change what happened last night. It does you no good to think about it. You learn from it. Watch the video. All right, we'd like to do this. And they probably don't even need to watch video. They'd be like, hey, guys, let's bring a little bit more intensity. This is the playoffs. Right? When we have a 4-1 lead, we don't just sit back. Let's push forward. But yes, as Ted Lasso says, be a goldfish. He's got a lot of good lines, eh, Cons? Lots of good lines.
Be curious, not judgmental.
Ooh, that's
another good one.
That is a very good one.
Great show.
Yeah. Hey, boys, Panthers lost all 4 regular season games to the Bruins, got stomped in game 1, and game 2, they beat them 6-1 from Eric. Thank you, Eric. Exactly. Right? What happened in the past doesn't really matter for tomorrow night. Right? It has no bearing on it. Different coach for 3 of those games, different goaltender for Demko, lots of different things. Lots of different things. So we'll see. Hey, boys, what do you think of the Pasternak-Kachuk scrap? You think the Oilers' top guys would ever do something like that? Do you think it's necessary? From Steve. Well, I don't think it's necessary, Steve. I think it would come down to each individual to ever drop your gloves and fight. It takes courage. I don't care. Right? You want to get in a fight, and square. I don't mean sucker punch someone, but square up with someone, even in the street, wherever. Always takes a little bit of courage for sure. So I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's needed. But I'm not going to critique Pasternak for doing it. He felt for him and his team, that was the right time to do it. So he did it. No complaints from me whatsoever. I thought it was just fine. And we'll see how the Oilers respond. We'll also see how the Bruins and Panthers. That's what I love about the playoffs right now. These 4 series are great. I'm going to be watching Carolina and the Rangers. I'm looking forward to seeing how Dallas responds. And then tomorrow in Boston, right? Kachuk, you got 2 of the biggest rats in the game in Kachuk and Marchand in a series. There's going to be fireworks. It's like a perfect sit down, have some dinner, watch a game. It's kind of playoff time. That's a rule in my house. It's one of the few times. Well, it's really the only time that TV can be on when you have dinner. It's playoffs. It's the one exception. I got that when I was a kid. That's what we were allowed. So I'm like, you know what? My son thinks it's unbelievable. Gets to have dinner, watch a game sometime. So it's awesome. Hey, boys, any update on Draisaitl? He did not skate today, which I didn't expect him to. And, game it's a maintenance day for Draisaitl. That's what they'll say. I don't expect much more from him. I won't be surprised if he doesn't take the pregame because remember, when he was hurt in 2022, he did not skate on off days. He did not take the morning skate, and then he played at night. And did it for 3 rounds. Well, I guess 2 rounds in a bit because he got hurt in game 6, early in game 6, I think it was, when Anderson took him down. So Played 11 games that way. So I won't be surprised if we don't see him out at the morning skate. I still think I expect him to play. I think he showed his pain threshold. If he can skate, he'll play. Quick break. When we come back, Ed Jovanoski will join us on the Jason Gregor Show live in the eWell studio, EWEL.ca for all your electrical needs.
The Charm Offensive with Jim Jeffries.
Every generation before you has also been the most progressive generation.
And Jimmy Carr.
I don't know how to explain this to you. I'm not that small, I'm just far away.
One night, two comedy icons. September 8th, Rogers Place. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.ca. The Charm Offensive with Jim Jeffries and Jimmy Carr. Produced by Outback Presents.
Enio and Jason are friends.
Hey, buddy.
What's up, buddy? Except when they talk hockey.
Edmonton had all those first overall picks, and they still can't win.
Yeah, but we still beat you. Battle of Alberta champs, baby. But ask them who makes the best beef jerky in Alberta, and they'll tell you.
Wilhauk beef jerky.
It might be the only thing Alberta hockey fans can agree on.
Pick up some Wilhauk beef jerky today in Leduc, Spruce Grove, and West Edmonton Mall.
0% for 60 months. I'm not kidding. Where? Wolf GMC Buick. And it's GMC's Adventure Calls event. Pick out a new 2024 Sierra with finance rates as low as 0% for up to 60 months. If you're a Costco member, you get another $1,200 off purchase price on any 2024 in-stock Sierra. We're talking half tons, 3/4 tons, even 1 tons. If you'd rather an SUV, we've got low lease payments and an awesome selection on GMC Terrain. So get in today and get your adventure on. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Your business is unique. It has its own challenges and its own risks. Does your commercial insurance reflect that? At High Street Insurance, we believe in a personalized approach. As an independent broker, we take the time to create a partnership with you. We get to know your business and ensure that your insurance coverage is specifically designed to protect what matters to you. Insurance that's dependable, transparent, and tailored to suit your unique needs. Good protection starts with understanding you. Reach out to us today at highstreetinsurance.com.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mr. Rooter visits the dentist. Well, if you're all done there, Mr. Rooter, you can spit in the sink.
Hey, Doc, you got a clog here.
Oh, no.
Don't worry about it. I got it. It looks like a long piece of floss with something tied to the end. Why don't you check it out?
Oh, why? It's a birthday card.
You didn't think I'd forget you, did you?
Mr. Rooter, you're the kindest, weirdest man.
To have the plumbing cavity in your heart filled, trust only one man, Mr. Rooter.
My utility bills are going through the roof. How can I take advantage of the sun and put my lazy roof to work?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Energy team reporting. When you're ready to make your home or business more efficient, Action Electrical has the power to install solar panel systems and EV chargers.
Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta with supercharged skills and strong family values. ActionElectrical.net.
Why tee off at the Ranch Golf and Country Club?
A fun, unique layout offering premier conditions. The Ranch has been ranked as one of the top public courses in Canada.
Unmatched value. Score Golf Magazine rated the Ranch as the best value in Edmonton.
The service, from tournaments to special events to the pro shop. Superior service that makes every visit exceptional.
The Ranch Golf and Country Club, a laid-back environment where anyone can enjoy an amazing day on the fairways. For details, visit theranchgolf.com.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
O'Hanlon Paving is looking for finished skid steer operators, finished grader operators, Class 1 drivers, and more to join their Edmonton road crew team. Bring your positive attitude and great work ethic to their job fair on May 10th and 11th. Visit o'hanlonpaving.com/careers.
There must be some kind of way out of here. Said I jumped into the beat. There's too much confusion. I can't get no relief. Businessman there, drink my wine. Plowman, take my earth.
Welcome back. Sports 1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game grand for life. Woo-hoo. Oh, sweet. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time for our big guest of the day, brought to you by the Female Super League, designed to elevate female youth hockey players, provide a platform for 12U and 14U players to develop and improve their skills. Learn more at femalesuperleague.com. Our next guest, 1,128 regular season games, another 76 in the playoffs. He was the first overall pick by the Florida Panthers in 1994. Ed Jovanoski joins us. Ed, welcome to the show, man. How you doing?
Hey, guys. I'm well. Thanks for having me.
Hey, appreciate you coming on. We're going to talk about kind of two of your former teams. Let's start with the Panthers. And, it was interesting because Oilers fans are a little concerned. They're 0-5 against the Canucks this year. Well, the Panthers are 0-5 against the Bruins until last night, and they spanked them 6-1. And, there's a little bit of fireworks at the end. You were a physical player. You're probably loving that. But I guess kind of give me your thoughts on what was the major difference you saw in game 2 for the Panthers that wasn't there in game 1?
Well, I think, we all can go back to that first game. Obviously, the Panthers being off for a week or so. Maybe you can say the disconnect was there a little bit, just being off for that time. And Boston, a quick turnaround for them, riding that high. What I saw yesterday in this group is just they're stuck with their game plan. They're a team that doesn't deviate much. Even when they were down 1-0, the pressure kept coming. You can see it building. And it was just kind of that rolling wave. Went back to a little bit of their original lines, put that together. And anytime you get pucks, traffic, have that cycle game going, you're going to get results. And the Panthers were the Panthers we know yesterday, and they had a pretty good beating on the Bees.
We're going to get Ed on a different line here. That's just a little too choppy up and down. So we'll call him back and try to get a clear signal on that one, just so we can hear what he has to say a little bit better. Better for you guys, better for us. So give us a few seconds and we'll reconnect with him. Yeah, that's just a little too choppy every third. I'm sure you could hear it. Wasn't. Don't worry, it wasn't your radio. It wasn't your radio. It was just on the call. So we'll give him a quick call back and work it out. But yeah, the Panthers, man, they really took it to the Bruins last night. And then that game, I don't know if you were watching it. Some of you probably, because of course it's finished right before the order. Well, actually, it was still ongoing when the order game started because there was some late game shenanigans, if you want to call it that. The last 12 minutes, there was lots of misconducts, and there was a lot like a line hugging match, right? When I think everybody on the ice was given a 10-minute misconduct with 11 minutes to go. Kulikov and Luostarinen and Brazo and Frederick and everybody. And then you had the Kachuk and Pasternak fight the next shift, which, I think got everybody's attention. So Ed is back with us. And, Ed, the Panthers are a team that like to bully. And I think, intimidation can still be a big part of the game. They're a big team. They're mean to me. I'm actually kind of more surprised it didn't happen in game 1, because usually when things don't go their way, they'll get a little ornery. But to me, does that kind of just play into that team's MO? When it gets a little nastier, the Panthers are better.
I think so. When you look at the Panthers, and I said it before, you look at this team that can play any which way. But yeah, you're right. I think once they're just more physically involved and there's a little bit more emotion out there, it seems to bring the best out of this group. And I won't say there's no one individual that's doing it. I think their team's up. They're a very close-knit team. And it showed last night, man. It was certainly anyone who paid, like Coach Marie said, anyone who paid a ticket for this game got their money's worth yesterday. It was great.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that keeps cutting out, so we'll just have to try another day with Ed. Unfortunately, there. So it's too bad, but Just not good enough single. I don't see what's going on there. So we'll see. You look at that series though, and I think the Panthers are still the better team. So we'll find out what happens coming up in the rest of the series. The Bruins. I'm curious now. Like you've gone this far. I would actually go back to Swayman. But I wonder if they look and like Carolina tonight is going because Rod Brindamore said, "Hey, I want to give Anderson some rest." Now Anderson's older and has a lot longer track record of injuries. He does. Swayman doesn't have that. Swayman's younger. He's playing great. If it's me, I'm starting Swayman in Game 3. I wouldn't switch it back. I wouldn't worry about Allmark. I wouldn't worry about rest, just because Swayman's played unbelievable for them. So that's kind of how I would look at it, right? Allmark did come in and play basically the final third period. So I know Swayman got yanked a minute and a half, something like that, into the third. So I don't know. I'd go back to Swayman. He's been your guy. He was great in the Toronto series. He was excellent in Game 1. She had a pretty good first period too, but then kind of the wheels fell off a little bit. But I don't blame it just on Swayman. I don't know if any of you were watching that game. Like the Lorenz tip in, nothing you could do. That's one of the nicest tips I've seen in quite some time. So I didn't give him much of a chance. The Forsling goal was really the difference maker. I think there was 2 seconds left in the second period. That was a massive goal for the Panthers. So, hey guys, I think that series is going to go 7 games. Hey, you know what? I hope they all go 7. I love 7-game series. Now I know Oilers fans are like, what are you talking about? It's 5 or 6. Sure, I get it if your team's winning, but we'll have to see. Hey boys, do you think after giving up 3 goals in the third, we would use our timeout to slow things down and recompose the team? From Richie. Last night, I think that's a valid concern to suggest, okay, here we go. All of a sudden, Vancouver's rolling. You've just seen, you had a 4-1 lead at one point, then it was 4-2, but then they scored 2 goals in the third period. Why not call a timeout just to exhale? Now, I know in hindsight, it's always easier, but I do think NHL coaches, for whatever reason, are hesitant to use their timeouts. Why? Like, what are you saving it for? Like, sometimes I know they want to save it. Okay, we're down a goal. We're going to wait. We're going to call a timeout so we can, if our best guys are out there for a minute and then there's still a minute left in the game and there's a whistle, we can call a timeout. Okay, sure. But it can't when it's a tie game. And at that point, it's a tie game. If you call a timeout, you're like, okay, well, now we're going to overtime. So you know what? Probably not going to be a situation where we're pulling the goalie. So do we really need that timeout? I think it's a valid point that timeouts are underutilized in the NHL. For sure. And I could see the argument if you said, hey, I think they should have used one last night. Some other stats from last night's game that I think, as strange as this sounds, I look at these as positives because the likelihood of that happening again is very rare. First of all, Connor McDavid didn't have a shot on goal. And that's not going to happen again. The Oilers forwards had a total of 7 shots in 48 minutes of 5-on-5 play. Hyman had 3 of them. The other 11 had 4. That's it. That's not going to happen again. You look at their the physicality play from the Oilers blue line. They combined for 3 hits, both from the same pair. Bouchard had 2, Ekholm had 1. When Evan Bouchard's your most physical defender, good for him, bad for your team. It just is. You got to find a way to get fit. Like sometimes just run around, hit some guys, try to get some emotion going. Right? It wasn't there. I would expect it to be a lot better in the next game. Right? Like, you know what? Connor Brown, you get in the game, man. I know that's not his MO, but it doesn't matter. It's the playoffs. Get outside your comfort zone. Lay a hit. Get physical. Because, you're not expecting him to contribute offensively. So how else are you contributing? Find a way. What I said earlier off the top of the show. And some of you said, hey, I thought Derek Ryan had a good game. Fair. Others said, hey, I like the penalty killers. Totally valid, right? You can't complain about anybody while they were penalty killing. But like I said, when they penalty killed, they were aggressive, assertive. When the other team had more guys on the ice, the Oilers pressured, knocked pucks down. Great. Now when it was 5-on-5, they didn't play with that same tenacity and pressure. So that's why, for me, it's hard to look at any player and say, wow, really like their game. Some you could say it was okay, sure. But like really like their game last night, I don't think there was one Oiler who stood out. And I think Vancouver's got quite a few guys you would look and say, hey, I liked how they played. And the Oilers have to be better tomorrow. 833-401-1440 in our inbox, 833-401-1440. Hey, you know what? You probably need a good laugh right now, a little chuckle. Well, coming up on September 8th, you will have 2 comedians coming to town. Well, actually more, but the 2 headliners, Jim Jeffries, Jimmy Carr, courtesy of Outback Presents. Many of you need a good laugh. So right now, very easily, 833-401-1440. We'll do a trivia question. I think that's why not? If you were listening earlier, the Edmonton Oilers, twice in franchise history, have they blown a 3-goal lead in a game that they lost, but then ended up winning the series. That's only ever happened 15 times. The Oilers have done it twice. One time in the Stanley Cup final. Can you name the year the Oilers blew a 3-goal lead in one game in the Stanley Cup final, but still won the cup? 833-401-1440. The year and include your name. 833-401-1440.
The postseason is always exciting for hockey fans. For GS, it's all about construction season. For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community, but they can't do it without the best team possible. GS Construction is scouting for experienced and motivated laborers, pipe layers or pipe layers helpers, lead hands, operators, top men or women, and a water and sewer foreman. Apply today and start working for the 2024 construction season. Visit gsconstruction.ca today.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
Try the new extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza only from Papa John's. Get you some of that crispy, curly, cuppy pepperoni on top of an extra-large New York-style crust pizza with creamy tomato sauce and a 3-cheese blend. This ain't around forever, so walk fast like you're in NYC and order one now. The extra-large New York-style crispy pepperoni pizza for just $22.99, only at Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza, better get you some.
The Junior Prospects Hockey League is entering its 3rd season of gameplay. The JPHL now offers academic and athletic opportunities in the 14U, 15, 17, and 18U age divisions. All JPHL games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV with a showcase-style game schedule and high level of travel and accommodations for its team, staff, and players. To learn more about why the JPHL is the fastest-growing elite hockey academy stream in Western Canada, visit juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
The Adventure Calls event is on at GMC. Get the 2024 Sierra 1500 Elevation at 0% financing for up to 60 months. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on select trucks. With Sierra's available 5.3-liter V8 engine plus more cargo bed volume than any competitor, you'll have everything you need to take on any project this season, like building a brand new doghouse. That's a lot of wood.
I watched part of it.
How big is this dog? Visit your local GMC dealer for details.
Lando Norris,
Join Kidsport Edmonton's Bids for Kids,
really
presented
pulled
by
away.
GS Construction, June 19th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. at the Bell in Scona. Celebrate 29 years of Kidsport with 90s attire and
Beat
courage.
Verstappen when he's
Tickets are
finished.
$75, including entry into a mountain
Yeah, yeah,
getaway
yeah.
draw. Enjoy a night of sports talk, appetizers and bevies, silent auction, 50-50, and a beer tree raffle. All funds raised support local
Didn't they
Kidsport Kids
sign- I
registration
thought
fees.
Perez is
Visit kidsportbidsforkids.com for tickets. Event is 18+.
It's officially spring, but when the snow melts, the grass will grow
one more
in your yard. To help from the Lawnmower Hospital. Live on an acreage? Save up to $2,000 and get 0% financing for 36 months on select Toro zero-turn tractors, OAC. For smaller jobs, go for the Toro Super Recycle. With personal pace and electric start, makes spring yard care a breeze with Toro and the Lawnmower Hospital. LawnmowerHospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
The birds are singing, bunnies hopping, and you know spring
you
has
wanna pick
really
somebody?
arrived when the CRVs come out to play at Sherwood Honda. Well, those beauties are frolicking all over the lot, and it's got Sherwood Honda a little giddy. So hit them up while they're in a CRV selling mood, because who knows what kind of deal you might get. Life is good, and Sherwood Honda sure would love to share this feeling.
Who, Greg? $340. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in our lovely province at PlayAlberta.ca. And hey, everybody needs a laugh right now. And looks like Ben is our winner today. He knew the correct answer, which was 1987, when the Edmonton Oilers against the Philadelphia Flyers in the Stanley Cup Final blew a 3-goal lead, lost a game, but ended up winning the series. It's only happened 15 times in NHL history where a team has blown a 3-goal lead in a series, and then in a game, and then won the series. Only time it's ever happened in the Stanley Cup Finals was 87, and the Oilers won. Ben, you are the big winner, man. How you doing? No, we don't have him on the line? No. All right. Well, Ben won. That was very anticlimactic, Connor. Very anticlimactic. So
I'll do better for the Here Comes the Sun.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope so. We only have 2 days left in that. Let's get to the racing report brought to you by Cantork, where, hey, you know what? Big weekend, but they got big changes. In-house machining is going to make it quicker, more accurate, easier for you. Give them a call, or actually even better, just give Colin an email, colin@cantork.com. As for the first time in 20 races, somebody actually beat Max Verstappen in a race that he finished. Lando Norris beat him by 7 seconds, which is a pretty large, substantial lead in F1. And so, Colin, I guess my question is, when you look at that race and you see how it all played out, and like when Norris passed him, and then there was separation. It wasn't like he passed him and then it was just holding on for dear life. There's separation. So is there reason to believe that this is something now that we might see McLaren be able to compete with them, or was it a one-off?
No, I mean, they're definitely closing the gap. I mean, there was a lot that went into that, to the pass. I mean, really, Norris passed him in the pits. He was able to kind of stay out, like, because Max went into the pits, he had the track position, caution came out, he was able to stay out front. So it wasn't like it was an on-track pass. Max was really pushing. He cut a chicane, hit a bollard, a pylon, did some damage to his car, but it's that could have played in. Of course, Christian Horner said, "Oh, it cost us 0.3 of a second." Well, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, because as Max said, he was running the same lap time before as he was after. The Ferraris and the McLaren were keeping pace for a change. Like before any of the on-track stuff happened, they were staying, like for the first 25, 30 laps, they were staying within 2 seconds. It wasn't like a typical Verstappen race where he gets out front, he manages to pull away, builds up a 15-second advantage so he can control whenever he wants to take a pit stop without any kind of issue. Things definitely got close. Now, was that because of the heat? Was that because of the track? Who knows? But, I've got to eat my words, because going into that race, we talked about it last week, saying that generally this isn't a good passing track. It's not a good racing track. And, candidly, the race was very, very entertaining. Yes. Despite even without the Norris win, there was lots of stuff on track that kept it interesting.
Yes, 100%. That's what I was going to say. Like, that was not just because Max losing. It's nice to have a different winner, but like there was a lot happening in that one. Even on the opening lap, man, like Perez almost took out his own teammate. God, that would have been classic. Oh, I'm sure that would have went over very well.
That was within. It was within inches of Perez. He completely lost control going into turn one. Bad part of the track, bad calculation, and he just had to straight line it. It had to be within 6 inches of him making contact, and if they would have hit, the race would have been over for both of them, and we never would have got the finish. But yeah, Perez definitely not making a strong case for himself. But managed. He was very, very mediocre through the race.
You look at now Carlos Sainz. There was some story. He came out and said, "Hey, I never turned down an offer from Audi for this one," and there's he's still in discussions supposedly with Red Bull, supposedly with Audi, which is still sour for 2 more, I guess, this year and next year, and then they'll change over in 2026. Perez, they haven't officially made an announcement there yet, but do you think there's any remote, like if you were Perez, after everything the guys have said about you, why would you want to come back to Red Bull? Other than it's a ride, but if you have other options, would you take the other options?
If you've got the chance to be in the fastest car, on the current grid,
even with people that just got to seem to disrespect you,
but they pay him. So for the first time in his career, he's always had to bring sponsor dollars wherever he went. It's still common, even in F1. There's only 5 or 6 drivers that are legitimately making money at that level. But yeah, of course he would go back there, because, I don't think there's going to be a long line of people beating down the door for Perez to join their team. Which means he'll likely have to go back and, elicit his sponsors and see what kind of package he can put together. I don't think he's going to be in that second seat. It could be Sonoda moving up from the whatever they're calling the junior team now.
Right.
It looks like Ricardo's more of a long shot. They could put Sainz back in there. He has a history. He ran as Verstappen's teammate when they were both with Toro Rosso. Or they could try something, kind of outrageous and bring up one of their junior drivers. But there's still so much that can happen, and so many seats that need to be filled for next year. Like this is going to be probably the craziest driver and executive season, at least that I can remember.
Ocon got Alpine's first points of the season. Like, I think a lot of people expected them to be better. Now it's super early, but still, maybe for fans of that team, like this is a sign that maybe they're starting to come around, because that's a driver who a lot of people have felt like, has a lot of talent.
Yeah, Ocon and Gasly both have race wins, and I think people are going to forget about that. Like, they got their wins before Norris on very inferior teams. their team, that Alpine team, had a lot of dysfunction in the beginning part of the season. Like their chief design engineer, a bunch of the upper management just walked away and said, we can't keep operating under these, under these guidelines and under this structure. So that definitely did not help them. Hopefully, again, they're going to be able to move a little bit further up from the back. Haas is kind of one of those teams as well that they're in flux. I mean, they're two drivers on very, very, very different spectrums. With Hülkenberg, he was racing Hamilton throughout most of the race, and then there was Magnussen, who I think set an all-time record for penalties in a weekend. Like Magnussen is tail spinning, and Hülkenberg is just thriving.
Now, what do you mean? Didn't he have like 65 seconds in penalties?
Yeah, over the weekend.
Is that a record?
I'm making that up, but it's got to be close. Like he got 5 penalty points and 65 seconds in penalties. After the sprint race, he was very candid and he said, listen, every one of the penalties that I got was justified. I was playing the team game, so basically he was intentionally driving to block Lewis from having a shot at getting to Hülkenberg during the sprint race, where points are like, they're not even half. During the big race though, he's dangerous. Like he drives people off the track. He cuts corners.
But is he getting instructions from his team to do that, do you think?
No, he's been like that for a long time. I mean, what's really funny, and I can't really repeat the conversation for the purpose of the show, but what's great is now that Hülkenberg and Magnussen are teammates, they had a really great, if people want to look up the Hülkenberg-Magnussen interaction a couple of years ago, to know that they're teammates now is really funny because, Hülkenberg came by and basically made a very, very derogatory term to Magnussen, who replied in kind. It made it to the broadcast.
Now, switching to IndyCar, Penske announced that they have suspended some of their staff involved in this cheating scandal. Did they suspend the right people, or did they suspend somebody to take the fall?
They've suspended right up to Tim Cindric, who is the president of Penske Racing. I look at these kind of situations for more of what they're not saying versus what they did say. And yes, the engineers for the teams are being suspended. Yes, some of the management's being suspended for 2 races, which means they'll miss this weekend's Indy GP plus the Indy 500.
Mm-hmm.
But does that mean that they just don't go to the racetrack, or does that mean that they're completely cut off from the team for the next, 3-4 weeks?
Yeah, because it's a team imposed suspension.
Correct.
Yes.
So are they going to be working remotely? Are they going to be, sitting on their computer in their living room instead of sitting on top of the pit box? You don't know. Are they suspended without pay? Not really discussed either. So I think it's more window dressing than it is substantive.
Yeah.
Really, if you want to show that you take this thing seriously, somebody needs to lose their job. And you need to say, listen, this happened, for Mr. Penske, this happened under my watch, this happened without my input. And, we're taking serious steps to make sure that this doesn't happen. Saying that some people are going to be away, but, I don't know. I don't buy into it for this. And the fact that these people are being suspended when they said that they didn't do anything deliberately kind of contradicts what the end result is versus what's being said.
Now, there was 6 weeks off between race 1 and 2 in IndyCar.
Yeah.
Now, for the next 5 weeks, they've got the Indy GP.
Yep.
Then they have the Indy 500. Then the Detroit Grand Prix on June 2nd, Road of America on June 9th. They're going back and forth from ovals to road course cars, which is very different.
Yes.
Why does Indy do this? Again, I understand the makeup of the cars is different, but it seems like you're putting a lot of undue stress on your teams to make it work in such a short period of time when you could have said, hey, let's move at least one of these to April, and then we wouldn't have such much of a massive gap between races 1 and 2.
It's a great question, and I wish I had a great answer. While the gap was happening between the races, because there hasn't been an oval, teams are back at the shop working on their Indy 500 car. They're working on their primary car. They're working on their backup car. They're getting all that ready to go over that 6-week gap. That being said, it doesn't make a lot of sense to cram so much. Like, okay, the fact that they're going to be able to stay at Indy for, essentially the month of May is great. And they're going to be able to, make short trips back and forth for the Indy-based teams. There's some teams that are, 5, 6, 8 hours outside of Indianapolis, but they still, like, for their Indy 500 program, they've got to have at least 2 cars, because if you damage, you've got to have that. And your backup car really can't be a road course car anymore. Like, by the rules, it can, but if you have to go to a road course car and try and transition it, you're not going to be competitive. But it's a ton of work. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. I've been in the garage when, the engineer, the team manager is showing up at 6 a.m. and he's there past midnight every single day. And, you don't see your family, even though they're, you'll sleep at home, but you don't really get to engage with your family at all. And, Todd Malloy was Tag's crew chief at when he was driving the 98 car. I mean, this guy pretty much had a full beard. He was a clean shaven, very well presented guy. He didn't have time to shave while all this was going on. And then you finish the Indy 500 on Sunday, and you've got to get your stuff turned around and get rid of the oval car, get the road course car back, get it ready to go, and then hopefully you don't have any issues. And for the teams that have on-track contact, if they get into any kind of accident, they're really, really in deep trouble.
And the off-camber carters, you guys are going to have a record amount of carts this year. Your season officially get going last night. How'd it go?
Last night, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm an idiot. I was quite unprepared because obviously I've been stuck in the office for the last 2 weeks with Parker down in Florida for the cheerleading competition. But I got into the race. I had my engine was freshened over the winter. I didn't even have the wherewithal to do the proper break-ins. I got on track for our qualifying session. I'm like, my car really sucks. Like, it's just not pulling. And I'm trying to think, like, is it because I was in the shifter cart a few weeks ago and I'm used to more acceleration? I'm like, it's just not right. And as we're getting ready to take heat one of our rookie drivers, a friend of mine who came out of the world of stock cars, he's like, isn't that a brand new engine? I'm like, yeah. He's like, did you break it in? I'm like, I'm not going to say all the words that went into my head because they're not repeatable here right now. I'm like, you're an idiot, to myself. Took heat one as a break, like, because you basically need to do 2 break-in sessions. By the time we got to heat 3, man, my cart was happy. So I kind of threw away a whole night just being completely brain dead. I mean, it was fairly, it wasn't a really, really clean night because everyone's kind of going through the same kind of gremlins and, new carts. And a lot of people, this is the first chance to get on track in like 8-9 months. But nobody went upside down. There was nothing on fire. I don't think anyone really made hard contact. There was no bent stuff, no arguments.
Fist fights in the parking lot. So overall, it's a good day.
I've never actually seen a fist fight. I've heard a few of them threatened, but never actually seen one.
So no Paul Tracy's in the camera carts.
No PT and tag at San Jose. Not last night.
All right. Well, go break in your engine and hopefully have a better week next week.
Thanks.
What a rookie. Absolute rookie. Let's get to the con man coming up after 4 o'clock. We'll hear from Chris Knobloch, a little bit of an update for you on the health of Leon Draisaitl and Adam Henrique, who did skate today, by the way, Oiler fans. So Leon Draisaitl did not skate. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. I wasn't expecting him to skate. I still believe that he will play tomorrow. We'll see, though. But we'll hear from Knobloch and more after the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. You can save up to $200 on a set of select tires up until June 8th. Also, you can get a $50 bonus of every service of $150 or more. Book your appointment today at fountaintire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
2 games on the ice tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The New York Rangers will look to take a 3-0 series lead over the Hurricanes just after 5 o'clock. Dinner at 7:30. Stars and Avs meeting in Dallas. Colorado leading 1-0. Off the ice, the Toronto Maple Leafs have fired head coach Sheldon Keefe after his 5th playoff run, with the team ending in a first round opening exit. He leaves the team with 212 wins, 5th most in club history. In the association, 2 games tonight. At 5 o'clock, the Cavs take on the Celtics. Boston leads that series 1-0. Then at 7:30, the Mavs look to even up their series with the Thunder at a game apiece. That one in OKC. Major League Baseball right now, one game going on. Astros lead the Yankees 3-0. That's in the third still to come. Royals take on the Angels. Brewers host the Cards. And the Guardians take on the White Sox. Earlier today, Diamondbacks knocked off the Reds 5-4. Mariners fall to the Twins 11-1. And the Rockies over the Giants 9-1. PWHL tonight, playoff action. Game 1 of their best-of-5 series. Montreal hosting Boston. Puck drop at 5 o'clock. Coming up in hour number 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will ask 5 questions and preview tonight's Stars Avalanche game with Evan Rawal of Colorado Hockey Now. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Station CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Hello, Chris. We'll just.
Know that. And this year,
I don't know if you've got anything.
Leon and Adam are here today, and we'll let you know tomorrow.
Snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit.
Hello, Chris. We'll just. I don't know if you've got anything.
Leon and Adam are here today, and we'll let you know tomorrow.
Or even exclusive.
After 4 o'clock, welcome back to the Thursday edition of the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, sports1440.ca. Many of you watching on Twitter, the Sports 1440 Instagram, anywhere you get the apps. We love it. Lots of places to consume the show. And hey, many of you, based on the text line today, are fired up. I like it. And most people are like, I just need to vent, but I still think they'll win, which is totally valid to me. You can be mad about one game. It doesn't mean, well, the Oilers are terrible, they'll never win. Sure, I guess you can say it, but it doesn't really make much sense to me, right? Because the same thing was said when they lost a game 2 to LA. They're not winning every game. Now, last night was frustrating because they, despite not playing great, they found themselves up 4-1 and then just blew it. Like awful. 22 minutes and 43 seconds without a shot on goal. Now, Nugent Hopkins did hit the post. Doesn't count as a shot on goal. Hit that post about 40 seconds before Miller made it 4-3. Nugent Hopkins scores there, which he should have. It's game over. Right? Like when you talk about a bad giveaway by a defenseman and you don't like the play, I'm stunned how more people would be, well, what Cody Ceci didn't get it out. That's brutal. Okay, fair. But you're not saying the same thing about Nugent Hopkins? Why? Think about it. You want him to shoot it into an empty net. And a guy you want him to just get it by somebody on the ice. What's the difference? The goalie didn't stop him. Hit the goalpost from a very good shooting angle. To me, that's just as egregious of an error. Just as egregious. That changed the whole game. He scores there. It's 5-2. Now there's a face-off. The odds of Miller even being in that situation, virtually none. Right? It probably deflates the arena. The fans are like, oh. Right? The Canucks are like, ooh. But it didn't happen. Right? Like there's lots of little plays. That play clearly would have turned the game around. And think about it. They would have still gone 16 minutes without a shot on goal. And then Nugent Hopkins would have scored. They would have went from Hyman scoring to no shots and then the next shot on goal being Nugent Hopkins and they score. But didn't happen. So we'll see where they go from here. I would expect them to bounce back. They have no choice. Right? They got to do what Florida did. Florida lost the first 5 games head-to-head against Boston this year. And then they spanked them 6-1. I'm not saying the Oilers are going to win 6-1, but there's nothing about Shelovs that tells me I would be concerned about, we got a hot goalie over there. Not at all. So the Oilers need to attack. They got to get way more shots on goal. When you have a goalie who's struggling, get pucks, get bodies to the net. Like, look at his play on the Ekholm goal. Right? Look at the play on the Hyman goal. Are you telling me that's a goalie that you're like, Jesus, it's not Shesterkin, right? It's not. The Oilers should be able to light him up if they're willing to pay the price, which they have been lots, but they're going to have to dial it up again tomorrow. Let's get to the oil report brought to you by VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. They are the number 1 Volvo dealership in Canada, 13 years running. Excellence Award winner in sales and service. And got great deals, 0.99% on a lease. Right now, you can save over $4,000 on other select models only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com, where you can get the fully electric vehicle. Get it on order right now at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com. Here's the quick update. Many of you are wondering, Leon Draisaitl, Adam Henrique. What's the latest from head coach Chris Knobloch?
Leon and Adam are day-to-day, and we'll let you know tomorrow if they're playing or not. I said I'll let you know tomorrow. I said, tomorrow could be 10 p.m., could be 10 a.m. So,
well, it's playoffs. I didn't expect him to say anything. I look at how practice went. Sam Gagner was playing with Nugent Hopkins and Kane. Fogle was skating with Hyman and McDavid. Janmark was with Ryan and Brown, and Perry, McLeod, and Holloway were together. So all the combination, the only one that was different was Gagner in for Draisaitl. Would I expect that? No, I'd be very surprised. I would be stunned if Sam Gagner is the guy who's playing with Nugent Hopkins and Kane tomorrow. Just based on usage and everything else leading up down the stretch here, I would be very, very surprised. So we'll see where it goes. But hey, it doesn't really matter. That's one player. The rest of the guys got to play better. Now that Knobloch had a night to sleep on it, to watch some video, what did he feel? What changed for the Oilers? They're up 4-1, even though they weren't playing great, but then suddenly allowed Vancouver to come back in. Why?
Yeah, after watching the game, I saw a team that was a little rusty. Our details weren't what they should have been. A lot of credit to the Vancouver Canucks playing a good game, but I don't think we played our best. There's things that we need to be better at, and whether we were too conservative or just lacking details in the second half of the game, but we know to beat this team, we need to be better.
Yeah, didn't give much insight there, but obviously they need to be better. Now, what about the lack of physicality last night from your defense core? Now, sometimes not giving hits means you have the puck all the time, but that really wasn't the case last night. And Desharnais, Nurse, CC, and Kulak, the four of them combined for 0 hits. Ekholm had 1, Bouchard had 2. It's the playoffs. So, like, some guys will have 3 hits in the first shift. So is it a concern? What did he see about the lack of physicality from his blue line?
Usually, if you, especially for a defenseman, you don't have a hit, it's usually because you're playing the offensive zone all the time and you aren't in a position to defend and make those hits. Now, do I think that was the case last night, that we had the puck all the time? And no, that wasn't it. But, there's certain stats that I take very little merit in. One is hits, the giveaway takeaways at the end of the nights. There's a lot of information that's very valuable. Those 3 I take with a grain of salt each night when I'm looking at that stat sheet.
Basically saying he's not a big fan of whoever is calculating the ES. And I've argued this for years. I don't think there is enough continuity from building to building in the NHL in those 3 categories. For years in Minnesota, Cal Clutterbuck could blow on someone. Oh, there's a hit. Right? Like it can be misleading. But when you watch the game last night, I think it is also fair. Okay, so 4 guys with 0. Okay. Did they miss a massive amount of hits? I don't think so. So I don't think Edmonton was physical enough at all. So, while it might not be 100% accurate, that's valid. I do think you can glean something from the fact that you had 0 from your second and third pair defensemen. It's a small sign for me, especially because Edmonton didn't have the puck to be like, we need to lay the body. We need to force because the Vancouver Canucks aren't blessed with a massive, huge forward core. Right? Nurse and Desharnais specifically. You got to wear those guys down. You want to beat on them. They're way smaller. So that's something to look for the next game. What is Knobloch, how does he look at it, his role in making sure they are better than they were? They got a veteran team. The players want to. So what's the role in the coach after a game like last night?
Obviously a coach has some impact on how the team responds, whether that's responding after a win or after a loss. But a lot of things that can be said. The players know, they understand, they've been through this, and I just think it's very important, whether you're winning or whether you're losing, that stay even keel. You respond and bring your best the next day. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that throughout the year. Our losing streaks have been short. We've been able to respond after poor games very quickly. Think about the, going back in late March, early April, whenever that was, after the game in Dallas. We responded well in Colorado next day. And there's numerous situations like that. And last night wasn't our best game. And, often you have to give the credit to the opposition because they usually put you in a position not to have your best game. But we need to step it up. And we also, we hadn't played for a while, that we need to find our game. And we got to do it quickly.
100%. Very well said. Hey, guys, Vancouver is waking up. Vancouver didn't lose Demko's 125-point President Trophy winner. Demko is close. Vancouver adding Pettersson, Demko. Edmonton is not. Edmonton needs to 5 defensemen back, go full Nashville, or they're in massive trouble. I don't think so. It's one game. Edmonton did not play remotely close. Do I think Demko is that close to playing? I'll believe it when I see it, honestly. I know they said at least game 4 he's out for. So, think about that. Well, he's out for at least game 4. Well, game 4 will be on Tuesday. So then magically, we know he could. This was a week ago. We know for sure he's not going to be good for the Tuesday, but he might be good 2 days later. I don't know. That seems like, Kevin Woodley said, I'd be surprised if he saw him this round. So I think that's probably a little bit better, accurate. And the Oilers, don't worry about it. If the Oilers play well and generate enough quality chances, they'll score on C-Law. There's no doubt in my mind. None. When Demko gets in, is he better? Without question. But he's got to get in. And then he'll be not playing for a month. Difficult. Hey, boys, even though the Oilers scored 4 goals, I don't think they made it hard in the goaltender at all. What's the number one thing they have to do more offensively? Well, I think they got to be much hungrier around the net, Adam. They need to, you got to win more puck battles, no question. They didn't have the puck enough, right? I think the shots were a very fair reflection of the puck possession time last night for the Oilers and the Canucks. Like, how many times did Edmonton have sustained pressure in the offensive zone, what made you go, oof, they really got him, right? I didn't think they did. So, they had some, and the other thing, it wasn't like Vancouver had extended shifts where they would have the puck in their zone, but they weren't generating a ton, right? They had, but Edmonton, there was a few times they had it, but they never ended up with anything remotely dangerous, right? Like, I don't think Vancouver played great either last night, if I'm being honest. I don't think that was it was a great game entertainment-wise because it's back and, it's a 3-1, 4-1 lead, and then all of a sudden they storm back and everyone's going crazy. But I don't think Vancouver loved their game, if you're being honest, and I know Edmonton didn't. Right? The one part of Edmonton's game last night that was top-notch and has been since the playoff start is their penalty kill. It actually got better, I felt, as the game went on. They got more assertive. How many times Janmark, Nugent Hopkins, the forwards were excellent at pressuring Vancouver high inside the zone, knocking pucks out, even denying entries, right? Like it shows you when you watch other teams, when they don't have McDavid on zone entries, like you take it for granted how easy Edmonton gets in the zone on the power play. It's overlooked at how easy they make it look sometimes. But Vancouver, Edmonton, and it's not like they sent 2 guys up, but Ryan McLeod, I think 3 or 4 times, knocked pucks down. Janmark, their penalty kill was excellent. I have no qualms, but that's the one element of their game. You're like, just keep it going. Don't change anything. Keep talking. We know what they want to do. Right? Give Mark Stewart credit. They adjusted to LA's power play, said, we know what do we want to take away this. And so, now it's only one game. But I thought on the first power play, Vancouver had some good looks. But after that, Edmonton really stymied them. And if that continues, you know that Edmonton's going to have success in the power play. Like, it would be the biggest surprise if the Oilers are all of a sudden 1 for 10 on the power play. Because they haven't been that way for 5 years. Right? It just doesn't happen in every series. Like, I think the worst series they had, Colorado, and that was 18%. Right? Not great, but like not awful. So, your power play is going to score. If their penalty kill can remain, and they don't have to be perfect, but if the penalty kill remains this aggressive, this assertive, I just think, now the difference was last night, they were never able to take advantage of the good kills and kind of build on that momentum. Right? They just never did. And to me, that was the sign. I don't know if rust, whatever. They lacked a little bit of urgency, I felt, last night. And I would like to think that it'll be better tomorrow. You better hope it is. Otherwise, you're not going to have much chance. Now, one team who has shown up now, they were like Vancouver. They were down 3-0. And then their big guns came out. Rantanen, McKinnon, Makar before Wood scored in overtime. The Avs have now won 5 straight, and they have a chance to go up 2-0 and then go back home to Colorado. They had the best record in the NHL on home ice. Like Dallas, I think this is as close as you can get to a must-win game without theoretically being a must-win game, right? Must-win games are when you have to win or you're eliminated, right? You're down 3-1, you're down 3-2. It's game 7. Those are must-wins. I get it. But, man, if I'm Dallas and I'm looking at the way Colorado's played on home ice, I view this as a must-win game. So we'll see how they do it. We will go to Colorado next. The Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 and Oilers Nation YouTube.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job, from home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs. We're your team. Call 3 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
The Edmonton Center, Canada's largest, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Maximize brand feature screen.
425, welcome back. It is a Thursday edition, Jason Gregor Show. Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Hope you're having an awesome day. Of course, 2 more NHL games tonight, some NBA action. You also have the Oilers practice today. No Leon Draisaitl. Adam Henrique was on the ice, but he's day-to-day, according to his head coach. I'm guessing you won't see him till Sunday. I could be wrong, but that would be my hunch. Draisaitl is listed as day-to-day. I'm going to go off of who the coach had there. I'd be surprised if Sam Gagner comes out of the press box to go on the second line. I could be totally wrong. I'm just saying that would surprise me. And he was the one skating there. I still think we're going to see Leon Draisaitl. I'm basing that off of his pain threshold that we saw in 2022. So I think we'll see Leon Draisaitl in game 2. And if not, guess what? You can't lose just because Leon Draisaitl isn't playing. It's a huge loss, no question. So what? Lots of teams lose guys in the playoffs. You got to find a way to win. So it would just, force others to have to step up. Just how it goes. Let's get to our playoff report now, brought to you by Action Electrical, where you can take action on your savings right now. You can get a 10-year interest-free loan if you're looking to get solar on your home. actionelectrical.net. Also coming up later on in the show, our second final contestant to qualify for Here Comes the Sun, where you could win a $15,000 solar panel system for your home. So that's coming up in the next hour here on The Gregor Show, brought to you by Action Electrical. Evan Rawl joins us from Colorado Hockey Now. And Evan, the Avalanche, quite the comeback in game 1. Obviously, I'm guessing they didn't love their start. What do you feel changed, or was the 3-0 deficit not reflective of how they were playing?
Yeah, they actually didn't hate their start. And I mean, they were playing pretty well. It's just they kind of came unraveled for about 10 minutes there. And I kind of throw that up to Russ. They sat around for a week and didn't really do anything. And then a couple of the pucks just bounced off bodies and went into the net. So it was a tough start, but they didn't feel like they deserved to be down 3-0. And this team has come from behind so many times this year. They're just not worried when they get down any deficit there. So they didn't feel like they deserved that score, and they essentially just kind of kept going. That's what this team does, and Dallas looked like a team that was exhausted the final 3 periods, I guess you could say, with the overtime there. And the Avs speed just really wore them down, and eventually they were able to get that overtime winner. But that was kind of the story of the game, is that I felt like the Avs, they looked like the rested team for those final 2, second and third period, whereas the Stars looked like a team that had just come off a grueling 7-game series. And I know it's not theoretically a must-win game, but when I consider how dominant Colorado's been on home ice, I look at tonight like Dallas. This got to be their best. It's got to be one of their best efforts of the playoffs so far, because you go down 2-0 to Colorado. I don't see how they're going to win 4 out of 5 with 3 of those games being in Colorado, where the Avs had the best home record in the NHL. Yeah, I don't disagree at all there. I know they came back from being down 2-0 in the first round, but I think they realized in that first game that Colorado's a little different beast than Vegas. And you mentioned it, the Avs at home are just a completely different team, especially Nathan McKinnon. He's like 2.25 points per game at home during the regular season. So they cannot go down 2-0 against this team, because not only the Avs, just a dominant home team, but I think when they get home, there's a good chance that we're going to see Jonathan Drouin return to the lineup. So they're going to get a little stronger too. So they definitely need to come out with their best game in a full 60-minute effort here if they're going to take down the Avs. Like, it is odd. Like, Nathan McKinnon is just such a powerful attacking player, yet at home ice, he's dominant. And is it just a confidence thing this year? But what is the difference in his game home to away? I really don't know what the difference is. Like, he's still a really good player on the road, but at home, he's just like a different animal. I think he feeds off that energy. He was really feeding off it this year. And Jared Bednar is, he's the type of coach that he's going to put Nate out there as much as he really wants to. Like, and Nate wants to play a lot. Yeah. So at home, he throws him out there all the time. Any matchup he can get, he's going to throw him out there. And I think at home, he probably plays a little bit more. And he feeds off that energy, and they get the matchups that they want. But yeah, he's a completely different beast at home. Yeah, it's just kind of been fascinating, his splits home and away this season, because that's normally not been the case. And he doesn't, like, he's not a perimeter player.
right? So that's why it shouldn't really matter. Maybe it's just one of those oddities for him, but it's obviously worked extremely well. Now, you mentioned Jonathan Drouin, and you know what? He filled in, and he was a very good complimentary top line winger for them this season. But it sounds odd to say, Evan, but they really haven't missed him. Like, they haven't missed a beat at all without Drouin.
No, and a big part of that is that Valentin Shushkin, who, he was hurt kind of at the end of the year. He was a little slow getting going there after the injury. He's been unstoppable in the playoffs, and that helps when you lose a guy like Drouin, who had been fantastic on the top line, I would say, for about 3 months since January, since he was put there. So, yeah, they haven't missed him a ton. I think they would really welcome him back because, Zach Parise, he's been playing great. He's on the second line right now. I think in a perfect world, you don't really want him on the second line.
Yes.
So it gives you an option there to put him there and then move Parise down a little bit. But, yeah, they're not missing a beat. And if anything, it would just give them more options because that's kind of what they did in 2022 is when they had the top six, they didn't really stick with any specific lines all the time. They would separate Rantanen and McKinnon. They would put Nichushkin on one line, Lehkonen on another. So it'll give them more options, and depending on what matchups Jared Bednar wants to get, because they have all the analytics of what lines work, and they really trust that stuff.
Yeah, I read an article, recently about, Colorado and kind of their new approach a little bit to deep diving on different things. Like we saw in the Winnipeg series, they really wanted to get traffic in front of Hellebuck, and they were I think they had 10 deflection goals, which is massive in a 5-game series, right? It was huge, and that worked. What have you seen anything in game one that makes you believe, okay, this is their focal point on how they want to attack Dallas?
It is a lot of the similar stuff because Jake Ottinger is also a really good goalie. He's kind of had an up and down year, but it is very similar. They want to get to the net. They want to create some traffic. Dallas is a better skating team, I would say, than Winnipeg, and obviously a deeper team. I think they're a really good team. But I think the Avs, they trust their speed, and they really are focusing on getting to the net this postseason. And Valentin Shushkin's a big part of that, Lehkonen. And it really just comes down to their defense. The Avs have a defense that gets involved, and they get up in the play, and they join the rush that like no other team. So it's tough to take a trend off that first game, but they are continuing to kind of get to the net and get in Ottinger's face.
Evan Rawl joins us from Colorado Hockey. Now, Evan, what's the latest, like, Landeskog? Do you think there's any chance he actually skates in the playoffs this year?
Well, tomorrow is 1 year from the surgery. He's kind of been like the coach, an extra coach during the morning skates.
Okay.
Comes out in sweats and a tracksuit, and kind of just plays around with everyone. I would be genuinely surprised if he played in the playoffs. I think that's just incredibly difficult to do if you haven't played hockey in 2 years to come back and, play in the hardest time of the year. So I would be surprised if that happened. I wouldn't put anything past him, but I do think the Avs are trying to be as careful as possible here because they're not just looking at this year. They have him under contract for a few more years, and they want to make sure that he's, good to go for the rest of the contract, and they don't want to risk, a setback. Because if one thing goes wrong here, then he's 100%. I don't know if there's coming back from that.
Well, 100%, right? Like that. And the thing is, like, you come back, it's hard enough for guys who miss 3 weeks to jump back on. 2 years, and you're going to try to come in the third round of the playoffs. Like, it doesn't seem feasible and realistic to me. Right. And so it would make more sense if he's going to try it in the new season, go to training camp where it starts out at like a 4 or 5, then it's spring, preseason's a 6 and early on in the season. So by the time you get to a 10, you've had a few months to acclimatize yourself with it again.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he is moving pretty well when we watch him there, and I'm sure he's doing work that we don't get to see, but it would be a lot to ask him to step into the playoffs.
Yeah, 100%. Looking at the Stars, the fact that they only play 5 defensemen, Evan, Hakanpää is hurt, and Nils Lundqvist is playing literally 4 minutes and 20 seconds a game. Do you see? Has that been discussed in Colorado? Are they really trying to target those top 5 defensemen in Dallas and just wear them down?
I definitely think they're not going to tell us they're targeting that, but I'm certain that they are because, you look at those 5 defensemen, they're 5 really good defensemen. Give them credit there. But, I mean, one of them is Ryan Suter, who's pushing 40. So I think you can get by playing 5 defensemen against a team like Vegas, but the Avs come in waves. And like I said, McKinnon plays 25 minutes a night. Like, he's going to get matchups against any of these guys, and they're going to take advantage of that. So I think it's hard to play 5 defensemen against a team like the Avalanche that move really fast, and everybody on the team can skate. So I definitely think that's something they're going to target. And I know Hakanpää was a real pain for the Avs during the regular season. I think he's a tough guy to play against for some of these guys. So he is somebody that they really miss, and I think the Avs are trying to take advantage of him not being there.
Yeah, for sure. And lastly, you look at the Avs, and Nichushkin's come back and he has been unreal. Who's kind of been one of the unheralded guys who so far has stepped up very well for the Avs through the first 6 games or 7 games of 6 games of the postseason?
If I had to say anyone, I would say it would be the Casey Middlestad and Arturi Lehkonen duo. They are just dynamite together. Middlestad, we just didn't know what we were going to get from him, having never been in the playoffs and coming from Buffalo, where you really never even played an important game. So he's come in and he's been fantastic in the postseason. And then Arturi Lehkonen is just like the coach's pet. Like, Jared Bednar loves that guy, and any coach would love to have that guy on their team. He just does everything right. He plays on the power plays, on the penalty kill. He's doing everything right. So Lehkonen is just such a huge piece of this team, and he does so many little things that just don't go on the score sheet. But those two guys have just been dynamite together because, the regular season, Ryan Johansson didn't work out. We didn't know what they were going to do, and then they go out and get Casey Middlestad, and it has completely changed the complexion of this team.
Great stuff, Evan. We appreciate it, man. Enjoy the series tonight.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
There you go. That is Evan Rawl joining us from Colorado, the Avs, and a huge opportunity to put Dallas in a really deep hole. You win the first 2, and then you go home where you're the best home team in the NHL. Oof, man. I think Dallas tonight, you lose. It's only a matter of time before you're done in that series. This is a huge game. They still might lose even if they win tonight, but at least they give themselves a chance. It's kind of how I view it. Like, Edmonton, you lose tomorrow, it would suck, but at least you're coming home. You're a pretty good home team. You could even up and go back to Vancouver, make it a best of 3. Dallas, do I see them doing what they did to Vegas, to Colorado, and going into Colorado and winning 2 back-to-back? I don't. 4:38, we'll come back. We got 5 questions. Also, Here Comes the Sun's coming up. Another chance if you want to go see Jeffries and Carr. You need a little laughter. We'll do that and more on the Thursday edition of the Jason Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Use the promo code Gregor50. Get your free $50 wager when you make a $5 donation. You can do more, but minimum $5 at PlayAlberta.ca. This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XT60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
Hold on to your hockey helmet, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 60-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot.
And Molson Canadian for $4.50.
OTR's TVs, they're so clear.
You'll see the puck better than the ref.
Plus, every game night during Edmonton's playoff run gives you a chance to be part of the Sack Attack.
You could win a Hyman jersey.
This is our year.
And our time to cheer.
Be a part of the legend.
On the Rocks.
On the Rocks. Jasper Ave 118.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need, Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
For 50 years, GS Construction has been laying the groundwork for your community. But they couldn't have done it without building their employees from the ground up. Many of GS Construction's employees started without any industry experience at all. But because of such programs such as GS's Next Person Up, they've gone on to become valued members of the team. If you want to join the team as a laborer, pipe layer, or pipe layer's helper, lead hand, operator, top man, or woman, or water and sewer foreman, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup.
Tonight, from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching love seater chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
A solid financial plan is made up of more than just investments. Investments are an important part, but you need a more comprehensive approach. Roger Weird at Weird Pearson Akel & Associates Private Wealth Management understands that. He can help build a plan that includes retirement, estate planning, personal insurance, tax strategies, and yes, investments. Talk to him today and see the difference a real financial plan makes. Weird Pearson Akel & Associates. Call 780-988-4119 or visit weirdadvisoryteam.com.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Whoa, I earned that much Canadian Tire money on top of those sweet discounts. Did they make a mistake?
Value so stacked, you'll wonder if it's a mistake. The Triangle Max Stack event, now till May 16th at Canadian Tire, Sport Check, and Marks. Conditions apply. Discounts available to all shoppers.
Uber Eats is now in your area. We've got it all, from your favorite restaurant dishes to groceries and essentials. And get $0 delivery fee on all your orders. What are you waiting for? Try Uber Eats now. Taxes and fees still apply. See app for details.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's a banger, as they say, from old Whitney. Welcome back. Gregor and Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook, live in the EWEL studio, EWEL.ca for all your electrical needs. Hey, they'll also spice up your project, make it look even better. So you need a little bit of help with that? They can do it all at EWEL. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick, as the big sale, the tent sale, continues on all week. You can save 25% off entertainment, furniture, and fireplaces, 25% off Canadian-made sofas, and 50% off of mattresses at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Gregor, question number 1. We're seeing a lot of blame thrown around, text line, social media, that sort of thing. After the Oilers lost to the Canucks, if you had to put a number on it, how many of those goals do you think Skinner should have saved? And realistically, we could ask this for both teams, but we'll stick with the Oilers.
Oh, the 5th one. I think that's the one that Skinner would want back. I don't blame him on the first one. The second one, it's a wraparound, goes off the bottom of his blade. That's just unlucky. The third one, Miller, that's a sick deflection. Yeah. The 4th goal is a door off. It's kind of a CNI shot, goes through 3 bodies right through Desharnais' legs. I don't blame him on that one either. So really, I would say 1 for him, and definitely 2 goals. The Vancouver's goalie would want back, the Ekholm and Hyman's second goal.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. I'd agree with the fifth goal. Yeah, I mean, the wraparound was unlucky. I'd love for him to have made the save, but those things happen. We see it all the time in hockey. So just a couple for me. Question number 2. Assuming Adam Henrique is good to return. Coach Knobloch saying that announcement will come tomorrow at some point. Would that be the only roster move for you, or do you shake anything else up?
Well, I'm gonna say this. I'll be surprised if he returns. Right, like if he was returning, unless they really want to cloak and dagger. He hasn't skated in a week with your team, and then he didn't even skate on any of the lines today in practice. So I would be a little surprised if it was him. So I don't see any lineup change unless Leon Draisaitl can't play for game 2. I do think that Henrique, you know what, if he skated today, that means he'll skate tomorrow. Right, he'll probably stay out late, get a little bit of extra stuff in. So there's a chance he could play, but. Yeah, if he's eligible, he's playing for sure. And just like Draisaitl.
Yeah, I would run it back. Obviously, if Henrique's good to go, that would be my only change. Not going to panic yet. Things they can clean up in their game. It is just one game, so I would be going back to the exact same lineup, plus Henrique in this one. Question number 3. Got to give the Canucks some flowers as well. Who stood out to you in that performance from Vancouver?
Well, I thought JT Miller had a really good game, right? Good in face-offs. He was aggressive. He was around the puck. I thought he was their best play. Like, I'll say it again. Like, I don't think Vancouver, really loved their game either. I don't think they played great, to be honest, but I like Miller's game.
I was thinking maybe Dakota Joshua. 3 points on the night, 8 hits. I thought he's flying around out there, so give him some credit. They had some great guys in the face-off in that one as well. Number 4, of course, the news out of Toronto. Sheldon Keefe no longer the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So who do you think would be the best fit as the next head coach there?
It's a good question. There'll be some candidates. Craig Berube makes a lot of sense for me for some ways. I think he's a mixture of a player's coach who's not afraid to come down and be hard on guys at the right time, right? Like, you can't just be a yeller and a screamer and an insulter. It can't be Babcock. Doesn't work anymore. But I would probably say, he's a former Maple Leaf. Not that matters a lot, but I'm going to say him is number 1. And yeah, I'd probably go him. I think it's his job to lose. But I will say New Jersey's going to press for him hard too.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that pick. That's probably would be my number 1. And just for fun, I'll say Jay Woodcroft. He's had some success working with star players in the NHL. Played in a market where you're in the fishbowl, everybody's watching. Not the success that Berube's had, obviously winning a Stanley Cup, but I'll just throw out the old Oilers coach, Jay Woodcroft, for fun. And final question today, it is Europe Day. So in honor of that, do you have a favorite European country that you like to visit? And if not, one you'd like to check out one of these days?
Well, I've always wanted Spain or Italy are 2 places I've never been that I'd really like to go. So I don't know if I can pick one over the other, but I will pick those are the 2 that I want to go. I've been to England. I loved it. It was great. We toured all around. Just going on the tube there was amazing. How deep and underground their whole tube, they call it the tube over there, the system is. It was like I've never been on a steeper escalator in my life. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, this thing you're gonna fall backwards on. So I love the city, everything about it. So yeah, I would go there.
Yeah, I mean, I think Portugal would be one I'd love to check out.
Yeah.
And also, maybe not the most common, but Norway. I think Norway would be very cool as well. Check out the Northern Lights out there. I tell people I'm Norwegian because my family is just a bunch of things and we're very little Norwegian, but I think that's just cooler than saying Irish or British. So I'd like to see the homeland.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Everyone's Irish.
Well,
and British.
Ireland looks amazing in so many pictures. So like there's so many European countries that I'd want to go visit. Like, to me, I look forward to, at some stage, maybe later in life, go on like a 4 or 5 months and you go to many and experience all of them and go on like a real tour. That'd be the goal. That and an African safari. Those are the 2 musts for sure. For sure.
And the great thing about Europe is once you get over there, it's all so close. So you can check out a bunch of countries in that time. And I from what I've heard, cheap to fly.
Oh, it's cheap to travel around there. Yeah. Like you travel in Canada when you get to other countries, like, pardon? How much is it? That's it. Yeah, it's good. Hey, boys, do you think the Oilers need to put Carrick back in? We need his physicality from Corey Brown. I could see it happening later in the series. I don't see it based on line combinations at practice, unless all of a sudden, because the one thing now, anything can change. But I'm basing these comments off what I've seen from Knobloch since he's come in. He hasn't really played cat and mouse. He hasn't tried to be like, oh, you know what, I'm going to surprise the opposition. I'm going to run the lines like this, and then it's going to be totally different. Is that now we're going to have different lines, or this guy's going to be playing, that guy's going to be playing. Like today, him saying, Draisaitl's day-to-day, which is probably accurate, but usually he'll tell you who's playing. So that's probably as close as he's come to hiding anything. I don't think, Adam Henrique, I guess he could play, but if he was that close or not close enough today, but magically he's going to have one more sleep and be close, why wouldn't you skate him with some guys? That's my only thing. He hasn't done that. So, at all. Hey, boys, how do 3 defensemen have 0 hits? Well, I don't know, but I know that it was 4, Kevlar, not 3. Even worse. So, just happens. Hey, guys, what irritates me yesterday is the Oilers said he had cramps and equipment problems. Now they're saying he's day-to-day. It's all lies. I can't stand it from Attica. Well, maybe he has serious cramp issues. But yes, the equipment issue, I'm like, okay, normally you don't miss that much time for an equipment issue. Also, when you showed the one video on the bench where, he's leaning over and it looked like he said, my back, like, what equipment issue you having back there? So, hey, you know what? It's playoffs and they're going to say things. We don't love it, but I don't get to, there's certain things that irk me. That's not one that really rips me at all. So. Hey guys, I know this might be the wrong city to be asking this, but I noticed that the Flames are drafting 9th overall, and Ginla's boys ranked 9th among the draft prospects according to NHL.com. What do you think? It's an interesting one. Now, I remember Tyson Barrie explaining to me how when he was drafted, his dad was the owner of Tampa Bay, and they called him up. They're going to draft him. He's like, Dad, please don't draft me. He didn't want to go to a team where his dad was the owner. Now, Jerome, you know what? Is not the owner, but he works for the Flames organization. Now, Shane Doan had his son there in Arizona, but then he left, right? And now he's in the league and his dad's not working for the organization. I could see maybe, right? If the son went and said, Dad, I don't want you guys to draft me. And I don't want to be there. There's going to be lots of comparisons. There's going to be he's getting opportunities because Dad's in the organization. I can see that. Even if it's not right, he's a really good player, right? A lot of people are ranking him that high. On the other hand, he might be like, this is unbelievable. I want to go to Calgary. Hey, Dad, can I wear number 12? I'm joking. Obviously, won't wear number 12. But so I think it might come down to just, what he feels. And if he tells his dad not to take him, I think he would honor that. Right? If they were actually seriously considering, I don't know. But he kind of comes in that area. For sure. He's made big steps. Well, Craig Button, we'll talk to Craig about it tomorrow. He was just at the U18s. So it's an interesting situation because it's not one you see very often. We do see, kids whose fathers played in the NHL. That happens. But playing for the same organization Dad played, that happens, but not while Dad's working for that organization. That is a little bit different. So we'll see. Hey, guys, goals 2 through 5 don't go in when Stu is on. To me, that was his weakest game in the playoffs from Dallas the Farmer. I honestly think people are underestimating that deflection by Miller. Honestly, I don't. How do you expect him to save that one? Right? He's got to respect the shooter, right? So the shooter, it's a slap pass deflection from that sharp of an angle. I don't think that's a bad goal at all. The Zadorov one went right through a lot. That's kind of like a seeing eye shot. And I think sometimes you're lucky when the puck hits you because goalies, sometimes they'll just play the odds. They'll be like, okay, this is where I think he's shooting. I can't see it. I make myself big. And some hits you and some don't. So yeah, I don't know. Hey, Gregor, can you explain to me the ruling for Skinner? I thought the goalie had to be outside the trapezoid. from Aaron. Aaron, no, all that has to happen is he can't touch the puck. It doesn't matter where his body is if the puck's outside the trapezoid and you touch it as a goalie, it's a penalty. It doesn't matter where you are. It's just, are you touching the puck outside the trapezoid below the goal line? I should add in that. Below the goal line. And that was a weird one. But it didn't impact anything because the Oilers killed it off. As their PK continues to be great. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update. When we come back, we'll have a spec. Here comes the sun, your opportunity. We only have 2 days left. So today and then tomorrow, because many of you have sent in emails, right? Tomorrow will be our final draw date. I'm telling you, if you want to get in, this is your last chance. Send an email, Gregor at sports1440.ca, and just explain why you would like it, or if there's somebody you want to get the to and why for the Here Comes the Sun promotion, because we pick a emailer tomorrow for the final day. So your chance, though, via text or call in will come up in the final hour of the show. As we get to Command Sports 1440 update, brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers, where you can get up to $5,300 cash purchase credit on a 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali. Plus, eligible Costco members can receive a $1,200 bonus on trucks from your Alberta GMC dealer.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
2 games on the ice tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Rangers and Canes meeting in about 10 minutes' time. Rangers lead that series 2-0. Then at 7:30, Stars and Avalanche. Colorado up 1-0 there. Off the ice, the Toronto Maple Leafs firing head coach Sheldon Keefe after another first-round playoff exit. Keefe's 212 wins in Toronto are 5th most in club history. In the association, we got 2 games on the schedule. Celtics taking on the Cavaliers just after 5 o'clock. Boston up 1-0 in that one. Then at 7:30, the Mavericks and OKC taking on the Thunder, as the Thunder look to go up 2-0 there. Major League Baseball, 1 game right now. Yankees trail the Astros 4-2. That's on the bottom of the 6th. Finals from earlier today, the Rockies knocking off the Giants 9-1. Twins beat up on the Mariners 11-1, and the Reds fall at home with the Diamondbacks 5-4. Later tonight, Guardians take on the White Sox. Brewers host the Cards, and the Royals are in Anaheim. And in the PWHL playoff game 1 between Montreal and Boston, that'll start just after 5. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we will be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Edmonton Elks quarterback McLeod Bethel-Thompson. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more.
CW Eves Troughing is busy. That's why they're looking for experienced troughers to run one of their trucks. To get paid top rates, contact CW Eves Troughing at 780-435-1492 or email info@cweves.com.
Until June 8th, make the shift to more savings at Fountain Tire and get up to $200 off a set of 4 select tires, plus a bonus $50 off any service of $150 or more. Restrictions apply. Financing available. Book online today. I can tell by the look on your face you're thinking about it.
What's cracking at Cattail? Their men's league. Play 18 holes for 18 weeks on Tuesdays from 2 to 6 p.m. Then complete the day and head to Out of Bounds. Recently ranked one of Canada's top 10 in fine dining restaurants. For details, visit cattailcrossing.ca.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
The playoffs are wild. We all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at playalberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
Building or renovating, you want to work with someone who sees and understands your vision. BIE Engineering is a family-owned, experienced structural engineering consulting firm serving commercial and residential clients in Edmonton and surrounding area. Homeowner or large company, they'll work with you to help see your ideas through. BIE Engineering can help prevent problems, deliver solutions, and minimize your risk. BIE Engineering. Request a quote for your project today. Visit bieeng.com.
Weed Johnson, whoa. Hi, it's Dennis from Weiss Johnson, and soon we'll be back to those sweaty, sweltering, sleepless summer nights. Unless you're enjoying the cool comfort of a new Goodman air conditioner installed by the pros from Weiss Johnson. Beat the heat and the rush. We're already getting calls for Goodman AC installs, so why suffer? Why sleep in the basement? Not a chance. Get your best quote on a Goodman air conditioner with no misleading information or offers. Visit wjcools.com today.
O'Hanlon Paving is looking for finished skid steer operators, finished grader operators, Class 1 drivers, and more to join their Edmonton Road Crew team. Bring your positive attitude and great work ethic to their job fair on May 10th and 11th. Visit o'hanlonpaving.com/careers.
425.
She says she's no good with words, but I mean worse. But started out a joke of a romantic stuck to my tongue. Way down with words too over dramatic.
Ooh, another work day is over. Just get set to make your way home for most of you anyway. Drive safe. 2 games in the National Hockey League. Canes and the Rangers set to get going here in a few minutes. And then you have Dallas hosting the surging Colorado Avalanche, who have won 5 in a row. The only team hot are the Rangers, who have yet to lose in the 2024 NHL playoffs. Swept Washington, or up 2-0 on Carolina. Just so you know, no team has ever gone a perfect 16-0. Oilers were 16-2 once. That was the best in 1988. So there you have it. Oilers and Canucks will renew their rivalry tomorrow night, Game 2. Draisaitl, game time decision, according to head coach Chris Knoblauch, day to day. I'm still thinking he's going to play, but we'll see. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can have lots of fun. You can use the promo code Gregor15, get a free $50 wager, whether you're a first-time user or it's your 100th time there. Either way, Gregor50 at PlayAlberta.ca. And it's also Thursday. You can get your tickets for $1,000 a day for the next 20 years, which equals $7.2 million. Not bad at all at PlayAlberta.ca. As we welcome to the show Mark Spector, to get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. Rolling through another busy construction here. It's already started, and man, they keep getting more jobs. So they need more people. Could be you if you want to work for a great company. They're poised to celebrate their 50th anniversary next month. Big bash, going to be a lot of fun. Perfect time to get hired. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction as Mark Spector joins us from Vancouver. And Spec, you watch practice. We know that Draisaitl wasn't on the ice. Gagne was skating with Nugent Hopkins and Kane. You had Fogle with Hyman and McDavid. Third line was the same with Perry, McLeod, and Holloway. And then Janmark Brown and Derek Ryan. Carrick and Henrique were on the ice. So Adam Henrique, let's start there. How did he look? What was your intensity level for Henrique in practice today?
I thought that he looked okay. But when they started line rushes, he went to the bench and sat down. What's that tell you?
Yeah.
Right. And he sat there for quite a while. So he looked like a guy that was maybe hopeful. But judging by what I watched at practice today, I do not expect him to play tomorrow.
No, and that makes perfect sense. The guy hasn't skated in a week, so he wasn't there. And so then that leaves, Leon Draisaitl, Chris Knobloch, he's been very open. This is probably the first time we've ever seen him being like the playoff coach, right? Last night they said it was cramps and equipment, and now he's not playing, so I don't think it was cramps or equipment. But like the fact that it was Gagne up there, Spec, and not someone else makes me believe that he was more of a placeholder and just going to keep all the other lines the way they were. What did you take away from it?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree, because I think if Gagne comes into the lineup, that's not totally far-fetched. He's not coming in as your second line center, right? So yes, today he was a placeholder. Listen, these guys have played 82 games. The line combinations on this team have flipped all over the place for a really long time. So you don't need to practice guys together to put your lines. They can come up with lines at the skate tomorrow or at the game tomorrow, and they'll be just fine. This isn't a team that's run out the same 4 lines for many 5-game segments this season. So I don't suspect. I would not think that Sam Gagne is your second line center in game 2 of this series. But if you're missing Leon Draisaitl, you're going to have to figure out your center ice position. And, you've got some centermen in Ryan and Carrick and in Gagne, but none of them are top 6 guys, right?
No. Nugent Hopkins would be the obvious choice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you'd probably move over.
I think he'd have to be the only
now
choice.
You move a winger up and, listen, it's playoff time. The other team doesn't have their starting goalie.
Yeah. No excuses. I agree.
No excuses.
It was interesting because there wasn't one really noticeable play where it looked like Draisaitl got banged up. Right. And so obviously if he's out, it's a big blow. The guy had 2 more points again last night, assisted on the first 2 goals. He's been a 2-point-a-game player in the playoffs and has been outstanding in the postseason, basically for his entire career. It would be a big loss if he doesn't come. But here's the thing, Spec. I watched that game last night, as did you. You're in the building. The Oilers were up 4-1, but they weren't playing like they were a 4-1 team. The other team's goaltender let in 2 soft goals, in my opinion, and kind of a lucky one on the CC shot that ricocheted off of Cole. But they were up 4-1, and then they blew it, and they sat back ridiculously and allowed Vancouver to just take the game over.
Yes, they did. Matthias Ekholm said to me at some point here, in the playoffs, sometimes you have to win games where you don't play very well, where the other team plays better than you did.
True.
And they did that in a 1-0 game at Los Angeles. I think that was game 4 of that series. LA was better and Edmonton won. That felt, last night up 4-1. Who cares how you're playing? 4-1 should be enough. Every guy in that room would tell you that. There's no points for style points in the playoffs here. So they blew a game that they should have won. This is a mature enough, a professional enough team. Now, I'm here to tell you it's goaltending. They lost that game because of goaltending. Nugent Hopkins hits the post when it's 4-2. If he scores, it's 5-2 with 10 minutes left. People are leaving the building. So they lose the game because the Vancouver Canucks scored 3 goals on 3 plays that were not even close to grade A chances. If they counted grade B chances, I'm not sure they'd even be that. Right?
You thought the Miller goal was a bad goal?
I thought the Miller goal was a horrible goal. It was a very nice deflection by Miller. It was a very good play by Miller. He's on the goal line. He's the only threat in the zone, and that puck gets past Skinner. Never should that puck get past Skinner. The Garland goal was an awful goal for the Edmonton goalie.
Yes, the Garland goal.
He put the Lindholm puck into his own net from behind the net. What's getting me today is everybody searching around to find skaters to blame, and of course it's CC and Nurse because they were on the ice, right? Is Nurse supposed to play Garland better than he played him? Right? He pushed a very speedy player way to the outside and didn't give him a shot till he was 2 feet from the goal line, and it goes in, and we're blaming Nurse. And CC gets blamed for that too. I'd like to know why that is. Right? Why, when the goalie is as bad as Skinner was in game 2, do we need to search around for skaters to blame? Why don't we just blame the goalie? He had a tough night. I'm sure he'll be excellent tomorrow. Why are we blaming skaters, Jason? What's up with that?
Well, the Garland goal definitely is the one I thought Skinner had back. To me, the Lindholm one is unlucky. Like, he just tries to pass it up front and hits off the back side of Skinner's stick. Now, if we want to make plays, the paddle, his stick. Cece had the puck in the corner earlier, didn't get it out. Then Hyman blatantly lost a battle on the boards that led to the wraparound play, right? So if we want to blame Skinner, to me, I'm blaming Hyman and Cece equally, because all three of them made a play that maybe they'd like better. Guys try wraparounds, passes through all the time. The goalie stick is usually on the ice. It usually just doesn't hit him, right? The Zadorov goal, I don't blame on the goalie at all. It's, went right through Desharnais' legs. It's a screen through four bodies. Even the Miller one, I talked to a few goalies, guys, like that was a pretty good play, but Miller to deflect it from there. It's like when Draisaitl beats Talbot on a sharp angle shot, and you're like, wow, you know what? We shouldn't score from there, but it's perfectly placed. Like, I don't know if Miller tried that deflection 10 more times, he would get in the right spot. So a little bit lucky maybe, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being too light on Skinner, but I'll say Skinner, the fifth goal was terrible, but there's a few. I thought the Oilers players, that was one of the most uninspired game for like I said, give me a list of skaters that you thought played well. And is it longer than two?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the team didn't play well. Every guy in the room's telling you that. I think the quote I got from Corey Perry today was, he says, at times we were okay. And that's all we were. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and Skinner would be in that category. He wasn't great. Don't get me wrong. But he also, first shot of the game was
no. He wasn't okay. He wasn't okay by playoff standards. He was below okay. I'm calling him out. I see him. I'm not picking on Skinner. I just wrote a piece 3-4 days ago about what a good young goalie he is. I believe in the guy. He's going to be good tomorrow, I would bet. I got no problem with Skinner, but he wasn't any good last night. He wasn't okay. He wasn't near okay. He let 3 goals in a 5-4 loss that shouldn't go in. So that's not okay. And you know what? I'm writing today about how in an NHL locker room, Jason, it's not that you have a bad game. Everybody has a bad game, okay? Everyone has a bad game. You're judged in that room by how you bounce back. Everyone will be looking at each other tomorrow about how they bounce back. We're going to find out a ton about this team tomorrow, because a good team, a championship caliber team, has an outstanding bounce back game tomorrow. They might not win because Vancouver might play the best game of their lives. But a good team and a worthy team will play a hell of a hockey game tomorrow night at Edmonton. And I expect to see that. But if you don't see it, and it's 2 bad games in a row, let's have a further conversation the next day.
What did you make of McDavid's game last night? Like, I mean, he mishandled the puck 3 or 4 times, but didn't get a shot on goal. It was, to me, that was the least impactful playoff game I think I've ever seen him play.
Well, certainly this playoff, for sure. He's like his team, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing, right? I think you're going to see a different McDavid tomorrow night. Because he's not happy being a non-impactful player in a game you lost by 1. He's thinking to himself, man, if I'd have played a little better, we win. Absolutely. He was not impactful in the game. He did not, the Vancouver Canucks handled him. And that doesn't happen very often. I don't have to tell our listeners, McDavid doesn't give you 2 games like that in a row in the playoffs ever. And I don't expect that to start this spring.
I expect the one thing I will disagree before we go is when you say they were up 4-2, but they go 22 minutes without a shot on goal. I can't just blame the goalie. You don't have a shot on goal for over a third of the freaking game. And you were like, when you went up 4-1, the Canucks, they should have been like, oh my God, we're dead. The Oilers should have been celebrating because they were up 4-1 without playing that well. And then they said, oh, you know what? We're going to sit back. And I know Nugent Hopkins hit the post, and if he scores, it's probably game over. No question. But that play to me is just as egregious as a bad goal by Skinner on Garland. They're the same. There's no Stuart Skinner to make that save. He didn't make it terrible. Nugent Hopkins to miss a wide open net with no one around him is just as egregious to me. And it never gets talked about as much. And I find it's kind of a joke. That cost your team the game. If we say Skinner cost him the game, I would argue Nugent Hopkins cost him just as much, because if he scores into an empty net, it's 5-2 and the game's over.
That's fair. A team with killer instinct buries that shot. You know, 100%. Here's just let's throw another name on the pile of guys that didn't have a very good game last night. Nugent Hopkins needs a killer instinct on that play, right? So we're gonna blame that goal on him. He's 2 goals behind Skinner, right? In my books, but whatever. I don't want to pile on Skinner here. You're right. Yeah, you're right. Nugent Hopkins had the game in his hand. I want to say to you that the first 9 minutes of that third period, I thought the Oilers were fantastic. I don't know. I guess they didn't have a shot on net. Who cares? The puck was in Vancouver's end the whole time. Vancouver didn't have a sniff. I mean, they didn't have a sniff until Miller makes that deflection. Now it's 4-3, and here we go. But,
by chance,
shots on net aren't everything. They had the puck the whole time.
Did anyone, what were you thinking about a timeout when it was 4-4?
Well, at that point, it was so late. I thought the same thing. And I looked at the clock, how much time was left when it was 4-4?
I think 5 minutes.
Yeah. So then I thought to myself, no, you might want that timeout in the last 2 minutes. Like, don't take it now. So,
but why would you want? Why would you want in the last 2 minutes? You know what I mean? Like, if it's 4-4,
because you might get a power play. Because you might need to rest some guys. Because there's a lot of reasons why you might need it. Second, I mean, hindsight's 2020. You didn't need it, and you should have used it. But I can.
It was actually.
I can
it was
see
6
how
minutes. 13. Yeah, 6:13. Yeah. I just find NHL coaches overall don't use their timeouts very often. Like, how many games do we go through when they don't use their timeouts? Right? I'm kind of
many games where you could have used it and you didn't. And last night was one of them, no question.
And the fact that the Oilers, Nurse, Desharnais, those two specific, because they're the biggest, most physical defensemen, no hits. Kulak, CC, so your second and third pair spec had no hits in the game. Now, I know that the hit stat category isn't always accurate, but I watched the game. You were in the building. It's probably pretty accurate. Like, that in a playoff game, to me, that's the perfect analogy of what was lacking for the Oilers last night. I just don't think they were in it physically. And if you're not in it physically, you're not in it mentally.
Listen, I'm not going down the zero hits road because those stats are a joke most nights. I am going down the road with you that they weren't as engaged as they need to be. They need to be more physical. I think if we watch that game again, we'd find a hit for Nurse and we'd find a hit for Desharnais. Zero hits. I ain't buying it. Those hit stats I can't use the word on air. They're not correct generally. But, right, just like Nugent Hopkins not bearing down on his game, like McDavid, like Skinner, like all these guys, nobody played very well. And when Desharnais plays well, he's putting some guys on their backside. And when Nurse plays well, he's clearing his crease better than he did last night. So throw those guys on the pile. They didn't play well enough. When McDavid doesn't play well, we say, look, he's got 1 point and no shots. When Nurse doesn't play well, we say, look, he's got 0 hits. When Desharnais doesn't play well, same thing. So absolutely, play better, and you'll win on game 2.
Speckles, I would expect a heated game from the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night. I also think Vancouver feels like they can play better. So quickly, how was the atmosphere in the building? It seemed like it was pretty loud.
Oh, yeah. It's I mean, I'll give their fans credit. They were great, and they had lost to cheer about. Like, a lot of that 3 goals in 5 minutes had to do with a building that was on fire, man. Like, holy cow, there was loud in there. So good for them. It's a good hockey town. I'm not saying it's louder than Edmonton or they're better fans than Edmonton, but they love their hockey just like we do. They know how to cheer and make noise. They know how to support their team. So good for them. And I have a feeling they won't have as much to cheer about in game 2, Jason.
Yeah. No. Well, I would think Edmonton's going to have a bounce back game. Well, they need one for sure. So if not,
hey, buddy, the story in this series is the home team won game 1. Like, doesn't the home team win game 1 like 65 or 70% of the time? The home team often wins game 1. So it was a crappy loss for the Oilers because they had a lead, fair enough, but the home team won game 1. They're down 1-0. I sense Oilers Nation and people online are really sweating this. I was just in the Oilers room, man. They are not sweating this.
No, I agree. They shouldn't be. But they also do have to play better. That's all. 2 things can happen at the same time. Yep. I agree.
That's true.
Spec, have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
There you go. It's a Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. There's no reason to panic. Like I've said, did the Oilers not play well? Yes. That doesn't mean they won't win the series. It doesn't mean they can't win the series. It means they didn't play well in game 1. And they need to play better in game 2. I would fully expect them to play better because outside of the penalty kill, there's very few areas. Well, the power play obviously is good too, but there's very few areas of their team 5-on-5 where you're like, geez, man, it's going to be hard to be better in that area. Right? Like, think about the areas. Look at their passing even in the first two periods. Like, how many icings did they have just for miss? And like Evan Bouchard, who's a really good passer, right? I think he had 2. Right? Kulak, decent passer. Like, and where they weren't even close. Right? And that's just a little bit of rust. I think they'll be better there. Right? Now, those plays didn't cost the team at all, but in the other areas they got to improve on their face-off. They got crushed in the dot. Not having Draisaitl, definitely, but he, in the 7 draws he took, he only won 2. So he was 2-5. Right? Like, it's rare for him to lose a draw as cleanly as he did on the first goal. That just doesn't happen very. Like, if he loses one, it's kind of like a battle one. It's not like a quick right back to the defender. Right? McDavid had to take way more faceoffs because Draisaitl was out for a while, and he didn't fare very well. He won 5 of 18. So they'll need to be better in the draws. Right? Ryan was 50%, 3 out of 6. Like, people say bring in Carrick, but Sam Carrick isn't going to take a ton of faceoffs for you. Because, Draisaitl and McDavid just play way more minutes, right? Like, they're going to be on the ice. It's going to be Draisaitl, McDavid, or Nugent Hopkins taking the faceoffs for the majority of the time. That's just how it is. 5:20, we have Here Comes the Sun coming up in 15 minutes time, where somebody will qualify. Also, the quarterback of the Green and Gold, Mr. Bethel-Thompson, next. Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Wild, we all know that. And this year, Play Alberta is making it even wilder. Make a deposit with promo code Gregor50 to snag a $50 free sports bet with your next deposit. Get ready for unbeatable promotions throughout the playoffs with 10+ odds boost on every Oilers playoff game. Score a chance to win a pair of lower bowl or even exclusive sweet tickets for an Oilers playoff game just by making a bet on an Oilers playoff game at PlayAlberta.ca. Bonus terms and conditions apply.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes
or having my goals disallowed,
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Attention Edmonton, gear up for the Big Orange event at Edmonton Kubota, happening May 10th and 11th. Don't miss this incredible opportunity to snag great deals, plus save even more, up to $400 on mowers, $500 on utility vehicles, and a whopping $1,000 on compact tractors. That's not all. Enjoy 10% off on parts and service for a whole year. Meet the Kubota experts on site to answer all your questions. Ready for the big day? Visit our Facebook and Instagram pages for more info. See you at the Big Orange event.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
In 1973, deep in the basement of an Edmonton family home, an elite team of specialized forces came together to form Action Electrical.
Action Electrical Divisions, assemble!
Projects team reporting.
Service team reporting.
Testing team reporting.
Energy team reporting.
Supercharged with skills in their electrical fields and grounded by strong family values. Facing an electrical menace? Call on the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Your love for strawberries is very passionate, you say. Just wait till you get your next taste of Booster Juice. The new Strawberry Blush Smoothie made with strawberries, bananas, vanilla oat, and vanilla frozen yogurt will make you fall in love. And there's no tea like the Strawberry Serenity Teaser, a blend of strawberry juice, green tea, and honey. And for a tasty treat to pair perfectly with your berry obsession, the Strawberries and Cream Booster Ball has returned like your favorite dream. Visit a Booster Juice near you today or download the Booster Rewards app.
Christensen Communities, the name in active adult living. Enjoy retirement living without compromise. At Christensen, we understand that each lifestyle is unique. We are committed to providing choice through optional dining, personal services, recreation programs, and care plans to suit your current and future needs. Enjoy maintenance-free living and build new friendships in a safe, independent community. Large suites with full kitchens and in-suite laundry, on-site amenities, and so much more. Find out more today about our communities across the province at cdlhomes.com.
O'Hanlon Paving is looking for finished skid steer operators, finished grader operators, Class 1 drivers, and more to join their Edmonton road crew team. Bring your positive attitude and great work ethic to their job fair on May 10th and 11th. Visit o'hanlonpaving.com/careers.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson here. We all know how unpredictable Edmonton weather is. Extended falls to late winters, and who knows what spring and summer will bring. Regardless of the outdoors, your indoors will be comfortable with Weiss Johnson and Goodman. Whether it's a new Goodman air conditioner, heat pump, or furnace, using our expertise, we'll give you the best quote on Goodman products with no misleading information or offers. Just what's best for your family. Visit wjcools.com today.
Sports 1440 has added another player to our lineup. Tonight from 6 to 9, check out Turn Sports with your host, Navin Romerick. Edmonton's exclusive home of sports talk is now rolling 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Back, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. Playoffs ongoing, of course. Carolina taking on the New York Rangers as the Rangers have yet to lose a game in this playoffs. Swept Washington and won the first two. Now they're on the road in Carolina, and late game has Colorado in Dallas, Oilers in Vancouver tomorrow night. Do not expect Adam Henrique to get in the lineup just yet. Although good news, he was on the ice for the first time since Game 5. Let's get to our football report brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, home of the no payments, no interest for 1 full year on your AC unit. Stay cool all summer at legacyheating.ca. As we are joined now by the quarterback of the Edmonton Elks, McLeod Bethel-Thompson, joins us. McLeod, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
In right late in the second period, and I think I'm not going to be tuning in because I think I caused all those goals. So there's better days ahead for Edmonton. I apologize. I won't be watching next game, and they'll do just fine.
Now, are you a superstitious guy, McLeod?
No, I've gone from superstition to routine. So if it sits in the world of routine, I'm going to do it. As soon as it goes from routine into superstition, I got to let it go.
Okay.
So
right.
Not much superstition on my end.
Okay, now rookie camp is this week, and main camp's just around the corner for you guys. Now you're far from a rookie, but you're into a new organization. Kind of what's the most important thing for a quarterback when he comes to a new organization? What are the things that you want to have happen here early in camp for you when you get on the field?
I tell you what, it's really basic stuff for me early in camp. It's me knowing how to navigate the building, and that part of it, I do feel like a rookie. So it's where's the food? Where's our meeting room? How do I navigate? What's the best way to get from the training room to here? How can we get to the tubs? How do the trainers approach this? How do the coaches approach this? It's really kind of getting familiar with the new space, getting comfortable and building routines, as we just mentioned. So make sure that those routines are solid. So it's really like simple, basic stuff like, where does my toothbrush sit in my locker? All that type of stuff that is the most important stuff to start.
Looking at, this is upcoming training camp. So once you get comfortable, were you able to spend any time the last few months? Would you guys get together with any of your receivers and just throw?
So let's start what we're doing now. We did some Zoom meetings. Everyone was kind of all across the country. So what there's so much talent on this team. You know, it's a big reason why I came back, and what's so exciting about the Edmonton Elks this year. You know, so it's really about getting familiarity and then just getting time on task at the stadium. So that's what we're doing this week. Is what we're doing for training camp, and we really want to do that organically, because if we feel like we're behind other teams, we're going to be more purposeful with our days. So it's almost a good thing that we're feeling like some other teams may be ahead of us in familiarity, and we're going to overcome that with purposefulness every day and having a reason why we show up and intention, because we know we have no days to waste.
You have, you've been around a long time. You've seen a lot of playbooks. How the terminology, is it really that much different? Like how much, how comfortable are you now that you had the playbook for a few months? Like, is it kind of old hat for you, or do you still need to get some reps in camp to really feel comfortable in it?
A little bit of both. You know, the reps are like bars of gold. So every rep I can get as a quarterback, I take that very seriously. You can never get enough reps. You know, Tom Brady in his 20th season was taking reps and being very purposeful, because it's about comfortability. It's about putting the play in your brain and into your body so that everything happens in rhythm. Your brain has to talk to your eyes have to talk to your brain, and your body has to be connecting it all. So, yes, there is familiarity. Yes, I do feel comfortable in the offense, but reps are like a bar of gold, and I will be taking as many as I can and getting as comfortable as possible here in the next month.
Getting back into the CFL, McLeod, it's, as I mentioned, you're not a rookie by any stretch of the imagination, but is there anything where you feel like you got to reacclimatize yourself with?
Absolutely. Timing and space, right? You know, that I feel like I have a unique knowledge of both the games down south and up here. No one's kind of gone back and forth as much as I have and played as much as I have. So I take a feel for it. And there's things that you can work on your game down south in terms of tighter windows, smaller spaces. And then you come up here and it's, more motions, harder to 3 safeties rather than 2, and bigger spaces and bigger throws. So every single day is an acclimation period, getting more comfortable with the bigger field and the extra man. So there's always familiarity, because throwing a football is always throwing a football, but there's definitely nuances to get comfortable with.
McLeod, I want to ask you, I saw a few guys in rookie camp. We've seen guys in the NFL wearing like the helmet caps, right? A little bit extra protection. Where do you come on those? When do you think it's going to come into a game? What would it take for a guy like you potentially to ever wear it in a game? And is it necessary?
Yeah, that's the question. I think it always happens with generation change, right? So the more kids are getting used to it, wearing it at a younger age, then once that generation becomes, in college and the pros, then they're more comfortable with wearing it. So that always happens with time and change and the turning over of the guard. I think we're wearing them this year in practice, and I think the NFL has done a bunch of studies how they protect versus concussions in practice, and I think that's always a great thing, right? Concussions are not good for anybody to be having, but I think that change always comes over time with, as you wear them at a younger age, you get more used to them wearing them as you get older.
McLeod Bethel-Thompson, quarterback of the Elks, joins us here on Sports 1440. It is the Jason Gregor Show. McLeod, you talked about reps and how important they are. What about arm fatigue? I remember Mike Riley telling me once, he goes, he liked to get his arm a little fatigued in camp. Obviously, he explained it probably better than I am right now, but he liked to feel a little bit, and kind of go through a certain amount of reps. Where are you as far as, reps for arm strength and stuff? Like, does it matter now? Do you kind of know, do you need to feel a certain way in camp before you get to the regular season?
Absolutely. And the training camp is when you're going to get your highest load of throws. So you have to make sure that you are on the side of fatigue and you're not exposing yourself to some sort of injury, right? So every muscle change, every neurokinetic pattern that's being built is a series of tearing. So anytime you get stronger a muscle, it's tearing the muscle and it's rebuilding back stronger. So you want that tear to be small tears, progressive tears. Nothing should be over a 10% leap per day in workload. So you do want a little bit of tear, but you don't want the severe ones that start setting you back. So you want a tear that progresses forward. You want to make sure that you're getting stronger as you go. So you have to monitor. Luckily, I'm very fortunate. I have an arm that likes to throw a lot. So training camp has always been a good challenge for me. And knock on wood, it hasn't gotten to the point where an injury's happened or something that's taken me out when I'm not able to throw. So it's just monitoring to make sure that you're progressing forward and you're not deteriorating and feeling like you're just surviving each day.
And we've talked a lot about the relationship between quarterback and receiver, and you want to get your timing down, and that's super important. What about the relationship with you and your play caller and knowing what you like? And then also sometimes, veteran quarterbacks have always had a little bit of a leeway sometimes to audible out of whatever's called in because they see something different on the field. How long does it take to really gain that trust and understanding with you and your OC, and in this case, Jarius Jackson?
And that's the great thing about me and J-Jack is that we've been together before. So we have a familiarity with each other, and we know how each other operate. So I love the way he moves. I love the way he operates. And it's definitely about us building that trust through camp, right? So he's going to say how he wants us to read it. And then I'm going to earn that trust throughout camp. And then hopefully I exceed that trust where it's like, you know what? He sees the game how I see it. Let me give him the keys. And it goes the other way around, right? So I trust that he's going to send the play call. And when he sends in me that play call, I know what he means by that, right? So it's the unspoken language. By sending me X play, I'm like, okay, his intention for this play is such and such. It's 2nd and 8. We're at the 50-yard line. When he plays and says this play, okay, I think this is the purpose of this is why. And that familiarity goes both ways. So I think we've built that a little bit being together before. And then it's just going to compound and grow as we get through training camp and into the season.
What are you most excited about throwing to Geno Lewis? What is it that Lewis is going to bring that excites you as a quarterback?
I mean, his catch radius is just absolutely nuts. And so the great thing about Geno is he's never covered. No matter how tight the DB is to him, if you put the ball in the right spot, he's open and he's going to make the catch. So as a quarterback, that's such a comfortable feeling because I love throwing contested balls. I love putting the receivers in positions to make great plays. And I'm a big-time body language guy. And when he has good body language, when he puts himself in good positions, then I'm able to just read him and we can play football and play organically like you do in the backyard. So what's so amazing about Geno is his catch radius, his football IQ. And he's done it for so long. He's got such a good feel for it. So, and we got we've got weapons all across the board too, which makes it even more dangerous because they can't just key on one guy.
Yeah. Well, McLeod, give us a rundown. What's up on tap for you? What's the schedule leading up to camp now for you?
Yeah, I'm in the building, so I'm in the building every day. It's about 6:15 to about 9 at night. So Just getting comfortable with the digs and the food and the workouts and throwing, and I'm ramping up so that by the weekend, and when we actually do get on the field and start practicing, that I'm as comfortable as I possibly can be and ahead of the curve. So I'm a football junkie. I can't get enough of it. So now that I'm up here and I have the opportunity to do football 24/7, I'm just getting as comfortable as I possibly can on the field and in the film room and with my teammates.
You mentioned 15 hours. Can you stay sharp for 15? Do you mix in a nap in there? What are you doing for 15 hours?
On the rough days, you do want to take a nap in the afternoon, especially after a really hard practice. You want to get a couple hours in there to kind of reset and cut your day in half. But sometimes you don't get it, and that's also building the callus, right? So, fortunately, I have a 3-year-old daughter, so 15-hour days are not too bad. This feels like vacation to me. But you do want to build that callus and build it slowly. You can't push yourself too hard physically because you are putting in large hours of days to start. So that's why this is a ramp up. By Sunday, we have to be at full physical go and combine that with 15 hours of mental preparation. So thankfully, I have a 3-year-old daughter. That's the best thing in the entire world. So this feels like vacation, and I'm ready to rock. All
right. Well, McLeod, we look forward to seeing you. Enjoy the season. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
There you go. That's McLeod Bethel-Thompson. And he's a great interview, man. That guy, he's well thought out. He knows what's going on. He's a veteran quarterback, believes in himself, believes in his teammates. And I think, honestly, it's going to benefit Trey Ford a lot to learn. I think we're going to see Trey Ford get some reps this season. But I think having a veteran around is not going to be a bad thing for him at all. And I know that you go from being a starter for the last how many games to maybe having to wait one extra year. It's not ideal, but long-term, it could be very beneficial. 5:39, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you on Sports 1440. It is our final day with callers because tomorrow will be emails only. Only those of you who have emailed in will be eligible. We'll draw a winner tomorrow via the email, Gregor at sports1440.ca. You email in why you would like the solar system courtesy of Action Electrical, or why you want to gift it to someone and explain why they are worthy of it. And we pick a random winner for that. So email Gregor, sports1440 for that if you want to later on tonight. But if you want to win right now, it's our last chance via the text line 833-401. And Here Comes the Sun, brought to you by Action Electrical, where one of you is going to win a $15,000 solar system. Obviously includes installation, all the supplies, the permitting costs, the structural engineering, site assessment, everything. You need to be a homeowner. You need to reside 50 kilometers from in Edmonton or surrounding area. And also, if you have a tin roof, great. If you have the asphalt shingles, 12 years or newer, simply because the cost it would take if you have to renew change your shingles out in 4 or 5 years with the solar panels, it just becomes way more expensive. So the whole goal of this is to save you money, not only on installation, but for many, many years. And trust me, it is going to lower your bills a ton and help out become more green. Nothing wrong with that. So 833-401-1440 today, because some of you need just a little positive, a fun, positive comment with your name, 833-401-1440, and we will pick a random winner, and you could be winning a $15,000 solar package courtesy of Action Electrical.
The savings continue at the 60% off clearance item. Save 60% off genuine leather sofas when you buy the matching Love Cedar chair, or get up to 50% off mattresses. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Brick, saving you more. This spring, experience innovation on the road at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Right now, lease from 0.99% or save up to $4,000 on select models for qualifying loyal Volvo Cars Edmonton customers. Plus, save $5,000 on all new and demo 2024 XT60 Recharge plug-in hybrid models. Discover why we're Canada's only 13-time Volvo Excellence Award winner. Chat online at volvocarsedmonton.com or visit 1205 101st Street Southwest.
Gather around the radio, kiddies, for the best time of day. It's Oodle Noodle time. Listen in this week as your noodle hero battles the barbarous Bobby Burger. Now sing along. You know the word. Oodle Noodle time. Oodle Noodle time. You know what time it is now. Get up and give me your best Oodle Noodle dance. Your best time of day is Oodle Noodle time.
AccuSteel heavy haul trailers have been providing highway and off-road custom trailers for over 25 years, bringing you innovative solutions for unconventional problems. They're your industry leader in engineered heavy haul trailer frame repairs, retrofits, rebuilds, and custom trailer fabrication. When you need to haul the largest machinery on the planet, they can do it with a premium engineered heavy haul trailer made right here in Alberta. They're 100% family owned, treating you like part of the family. Trust the experts at AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers. Learn more at accusteel.ca.
The savings continue at the Bricks tent sale with up to 60% off clearance items. Score patio sets for just $99 or save up to $1,000 off appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in-store for details. The Bricks, saving you more.
Scott here from Sherwood and St. Albert Dodge. It's our biggest sale of the year. This month, every new and used vehicle we have has been marked down and priced to sell. We have Ram trucks that are 25% off, brand new trucks, and we have hundreds to choose from. We have 0% financing up to 72 months on Grand Cherokee. Even though we know our prices are great, every single offer will be considered. We will work to get you the best financing terms. We will pay top dollar for your trade. We will do what it takes to earn your business. It's our biggest sale of the year, and it's on now at St. Albert and Sherwood Dodge.
Whoa, I earned that much Canadian Tire money on top of those sweet discounts. Did they make a mistake?
Value so stacked, you'll wonder if it's a mistake. The Triangle Max Stack event, now till May 16th at Canadian Tire, Sport Check, and Marks. Conditions apply. Discounts available to all shoppers.
O'Hanlon Paving is looking for finished skid steer operators, finished grader operators, Class 1 drivers, and more to join their Edmonton road crew team. Bring your positive attitude and great work ethic to their job fair on May 10th and 11th. Visit o'hanlonpaving.com/careers.
I'm Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
And I'm Zach Hyman.
And when we're not making juicy, sweet passes,
or having my goals disallowed,
we're working for Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You know, guys used to call me a plumber.
And now they call you an AC repairman.
Nice.
Hey, guys, you're not here to fix air conditioners. You're here to sing the jingle.
Oh.
Well.
Okay.
Call Legacy, call Legacy.
No payments and no interest for 1 year from qualified installers. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
It's officially spring, but when the snow melts, the grass will grow. You'll find a wide selection of Echo spring cleanup equipment at the Lawnmower Hospital. From grass trimmers and chainsaws to log splitters and multi-tool systems, all backed by Echo's outstanding 5-year consumer warranty. Make spring yard care a breeze with Echo and the Lawnmower Hospital. LawnmowerHospital.com.
We're more than mowers, the Lawnmower Hospital.
Uber Eats is now in your area. We've got it all, from your favorite restaurant dishes to groceries and essentials. And get $0 delivery fee on all your orders. What are you waiting for? Try Uber Eats now. Taxes and fees still apply. See app for details.
.546. Welcome back, everyone. How are you? Jason Gregor, Connor Halley on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, and Facebook. As we continue through a lovely Thursday afternoon, the Hurricanes, Jake Gensel, 4th goal of the playoffs, and they lead 1-0. It's our final caller qualifier. Tomorrow will be all email qualifiers. Gregor at sports1440.ca if you want to try to get in. Here comes the sun. One of you is going to next Friday find out that you have won a solar system for your home that's valued up to $15,000. Unreal from Action Electrical. And our qualifier today is Jordan. Jordan, good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm excellent, my man. Congratulations. You are in. If you win, will you keep it for yourself or will you give it to someone?
This would be gifted.
Ooh, who are you going to gift it to? Do you know?
Well, yeah, it'd be my in-laws. They've done a lot for me and my wife over the years when it's come to needing a place to stay while building the houses or in between. And they recently retired and moved out closer to us. And I think this would be an awesome thing to give back to them.
Oh, nice. Look at you. That's awesome. I love it. Well, hey, stay on the line. Connor's going to get all your information. There's one final step you need to do to get qualified. Very simple, via email. And then you will be in. So best of luck next Friday. Be sure to tune in because you are one of the 20 people who will have a chance to win this $15,000 solar system.
Awesome. Thanks very much.
There you go. It's that easy. Good son-in-law. Good mother and father-in-law too. That's a big one. You have your kids have moved out. You're all good, and then it's like, ooh, they're moving back in for a short time. That I'm sure that can be daunting. I've never done it. But I'm sure at times it can be a challenge for all involved. So if you come out unscathed, that is good. That is very, very good. We got a few more texts to get to. 833-401-1440. Hey, boys, really enjoy you every time you guys have had McLeod Bethel-Thompson on. I have to say, at first, I didn't really like the signing, but the more I listened to him, the more I think this guy's going to help us get to at least 500. My question is, do you think the Elks can make the playoffs this year? From a longtime Elks fan, Curtis. I think they will be competing with Calgary and Saskatchewan for 3rd in the West. I think Winnipeg and BC are the 2 top teams, assuming there's no major injuries or anything. And then after that, it's going to kind of be a dogfight for 3rd. I do believe the Elks will be better than they were last season. Mainly, like you literally can't start worse, right? I think we can all agree with that. I think they got a lot of room to grow. 4-14. They were only 2 games out. Like Calgary was 6-12. Saskatchewan was 6-12. I don't know if those teams have really improved that much, Con. So, I look at it. I don't know. I don't expect necessarily a crossover. I think Hamilton, Toronto, Montreal should all be competitive. Although Toronto's definitely going to have some question marks now with no quarterback. But, I see, if the Elks could get to 9-9, I think they'll make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Like I think in the CFL, Chris Jones, he's kind of taken a step back, letting some other people come in and take a little bit off his plate. So you hope that helps him out. He has been able to slowly turn things around for the teams he's been with. I think McLeod Bethel-Thompson is going to be a really good addition. And, when they're watching film, Trey Ford, still just 26 years old, right? So if it is a one-year thing, he comes back next year, 27, still plenty of football left in him, but a chance to just to learn to improve as a passer and take advantage of those sorts of things. We know what he can do with his legs. He can buy time. He can move on the run and find things downfield. But for those like quick attacks, when you have, 30 seconds to move the ball downfield, I think that's where Trey Ford can grow. So learning from a guy like McLeod Bethel-Thompson is very good. He's put up good numbers in the CFL. There's always going to be some of the turnovers. That is part of his game. But I think a lot of quarterbacks have that mentality that they can make all the throws. So they're going to try to force that in there. But he does tend to throw, typically double the amount of touchdowns, which is good to see. So I think for the Edmonton Elks, they went through their lumps last season. We saw a couple great performances from them in the second half of games on the road. It's an upgrade at the quarterback position. I think this is a good step in the right direction. Playoffs, we'll see. I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah. And honestly, it's not like you have to be great to make the postseason, because I don't think Calgary, Edmonton, Saskatchewan are all kind of in a similar boat, right? They're all hoping to improve, but by how much remains to be seen. Hey guys, sorry, I'm just tuning in. What's the update on Draisaitl? Is he going to play tomorrow? He is listed as day-to-day. If I'm reading between the lines at practice today had McDavid, Hyman, and Fogle. Then you had Nugent Hopkins, Kane, with Sam Gagner taking reps at center, which is where Draisaitl would play. Then you had Perry with McLeod and Holloway, and Ryan centering Brown and Janmark. So all those three lines would make sense. Then Sam Gagner centering Nugent Hopkins and Kane. Call me skeptical that will occur. I think that's a practice placeholder. And Leon Draisaitl will be in the lineup tomorrow. Adam Henrique did skate, but not doesn't. Spec told us when they did line rushes, he sat on the bench for like 10 minutes. So I think he's getting closer, but I don't expect him to play on Friday, maybe Sunday. Right? It's a good sign. He hasn't skated with the team since their Game 5 victory over LA last Wednesday. So, you know what? If all he ends up missing is 2 games, that's a good sign. Right. I think it's an ankle, a sprained ankle. What level is it? A high? I don't know that, but that's good sign because I think they miss him. I think he's a really good utility guy. Right. Good on the power play, second unit, good as a penalty killer, smart player. So they could use him, and a good finisher. Right. He goes around the net. Obviously, they'll need Draisaitl. Even if he's banged up, as we've shown in 2022, he can be a pretty good player, even when he's injured. So we'll find out, as Chris Knobloch said. Now, it's probably morning skate. We really won't know 100% on Draisaitl probably until the warm-up. Because remember, he did not take morning skates in 2022 and then played every game. So that would be my guess, is I think he'll play. But we'll see. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, I'm Jason Gregor. Thanks, as always, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the games tonight. Set up the orders. Tomorrow, NBA, the Jays, are they ever going to win? Who knows? We'll talk about all of that and more. And congratulations to all those who were drafted today in the WHL draft. And if you weren't drafted, do not worry about it. I can give you a whole list of guys who weren't drafted, went on to great careers. Okay, it's one day. It's not anything to worry about, good or bad for you. Here's a Conman Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. Visit Booster Juice today and try the new Strawberry Blush Smoothie. Sip, blush, and savor as you fall in love with this new flavor. Only at Booster Juice. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
On the ice right now, Rangers trail the Hurricanes 1-0. Just wrapped up the first period. Jake Gensel with a lone goal in that one. Later tonight, Stars and Avs meeting in Dallas, Game 2 of their series. Puck drop just after 7:30. Colorado leading 1-0. In the association, the Celtics up by 3 on the Cavaliers with 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Cavs trail that series 1-0. Then tonight at 7:30, the Thunder take on Dallas Mavericks. OKC leads at 1-0 in that one. Major League Baseball right now, the Yankees trail the Astros 4-3 heading into the bottom of the ninth out in New York. Rain delay between the White Sox and Guardians due to rain, obviously, conditions in Chicago. And in the bottom of the first, Brewers and Cards scoreless. Later tonight, you have the Royals in Anaheim taking on the Angels. Earlier today, the Reds falling to the Diamondbacks 5-4. Twins beating up on the Mariners 11-1, and it was the Rockies over the Giants 9-1. PWHL playoff action, Montreal and Boston scoreless after 20 minutes in Game 1 of their best of 5. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. We'll be back tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Up next, you've got Turn Sports, followed by Fox Sports Radio at 9. Local coverage resumes tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. with the Kevin Carius Show. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440.